Get to the big news of the day. It is reported that Bob Melvin, Padre manager, will be offered and accept the job.
Yeah.
For the San Francisco Giants. Uh, I mean, it seemed likely yesterday when we talked about it. Chris went as far as to say it doesn't know how it could be reversed at this point. And no need to think about it because there's no reverse, at least reportedly.
Yeah, it's done, and sources are saying it's done. It could be official by later on this evening. So Bob Melvin leaves. San Diego Padres now owe us all an explanation. They honestly do. They owe us an explanation. They need to explain to us why they granted permission for Bob Melvin to leave this franchise and go elsewhere, especially to a team in our own division. And, I'm waiting, right? I mean, I think the Padres have to come out and say something. They also probably better hire themselves a manager pretty soon because now they're without one. And, the dysfunction that I referred to yesterday will only grow if the Padres do not take some action very, very soon.
Let's kind of lay this all out.
Yeah.
Okay, Bob Melvin, at least according to ESPN, sources have confirmed to ESPN that he's going to leave and become the manager. So that's now done. I can't imagine that there's not going to be something said here in the next 24 hours. It would be mind-blowing, and it would be a mistake for that to linger on,
to let this go. Yeah. But it feels like they've made a lot of mistakes already. So it's time to stop making mistakes.
Maybe so, but I can't imagine. As I said, we don't know anything. We haven't heard anything, but I just can't imagine it goes beyond 24 hours. Now, to your point, when they do come out, whenever that is, having a manager named, I think would at least cool things down a little bit, depending on who the manager was. So
soften the blow of the questioning that is going to be tossed their way. That's inevitable about how they let all of this happen and where they were, 3 weeks ago when they were telling us all that Bob Melvin was coming back and the owner wanted him back. And AJ Preller said that he was ready and excited to go forward with Bob Melvin. These are things that need to be explained to us.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think there's any way. I think those questions are going to come.
Yeah.
Whenever there is a conversation to be had, the at least reportedly the head candidate is Mike Schilt.
Yeah.
Ryan Flaherty is also in that. I would think you have to at least if there isn't, you got to at least kick the tires on a Dusty Baker if. This is the last year of his deal. He hasn't been re-upped by the Astros. So I mean, listen, I would think, but I'm not in the room making those type of decisions.
I can't see Dusty Baker honestly working side by side with AJ Preller. I mean, to me, if Bob Melvin couldn't do it, I don't think anybody that's that established will be able to do it. Unless something changes that I don't know about. I can't see somebody like that. Who's going to obviously have their own game plan, which is what Bob Melvin wanted. And it's the only thing I can imagine as to why, this Bob Melvin, AJ Preller thing broke up. But it has broken up. Hopefully Mike Schilt I think he is a suitable replacement. I mean, I think he did a really nice job in St. Louis. I hope Mike Schilt knows what he's getting into. And I hope that AJ Preller learns a lesson from all of this. I mean, this is, as we said yesterday, his neck is finally sticking out on the line, at least I think in the public mind right now.
Yeah.
He's the one constant in this organization that has seen all of these managerial snafus. I mean, it's been from one guy to the next, to the next, to the next. This is going to be his fifth manager under his leadership.
Fourth.
Well, Bud Black. Who he got rid of originally wasn't his, but Bud Black, and then you got Jace, and then you got Andy, then Jace, and then Bo Mel, and now you're going to have a fifth. So, he's the one constant. If that doesn't get the attention, Peter Seidler, I think, has to take a little blame in all of this as well. As much as the greatness that we feel of this owner for being willing to go out and spend the kind of money he has. And we understand, we don't know all the specifics, but we understand that his health has not been 100% recently. So that may have something to do with this. But my point is, under his ownership, this ship has honestly appeared to steer off course a little bit. And
you did say ship, right? C-S-H-I-P, right? Ship.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cruise, the SS Padre has veered off course. And, I think that's happened under his watch. I mean, he is still the owner. He is the bottom line here. And, all of this has happened. And I think Peter Seidler has to step up when he's, feeling better or, physically capable and again, speak to these fans. I mean, he's released some statements and the statements were very pointed. One saying that he wanted Bob Melvin and AJ Preller back. Two, we're going to do everything we can to learn from the lessons of this year and apply what we learned next year so this doesn't happen again. Well, this just kind of happened before we even got to next year. So, there's a little bit of dysfunction kind of all the way around right now that needs to be settled in. And you're right, Tony. The only way that's going to start settling in is for them to speak up and talk to these fans, talk to this city, and, let us know what their plan is going forward.
CBS has a top 6 list in terms of who the candidates are.
Okay.
From 1 through 6 in order. I'll read them to you. Ryan Flaherty at 1, Mike Schilt at 2, AJ Ellis at 3, Luis Rojas, who is the Yankees third base coach, at 4, Johnny Washington, who has been credited with the Cubs and their offense. He was also a hitting coach here in San Diego for a little bit.
Yes, I remember him. Yeah.
He's 5th on the list, and Clayton McCullough is the Dodgers first base coach. So not a lot of names that you are going to recognize, B, that are experienced as a manager outside of Mike Schilt.
Right.
But I mean, these are that, and then listen, that's CBS's candidate list. We don't know how accurate it is or not, but it is telling, at least from the outside looking in, people looking at this, that they picked a lot of managers that outside of Mike Schilt that
inexperienced guys
that didn't have experience.
Yeah, they're thinking. I guess CBS is thinking that an inexperienced manager is going to work best in this situation. I don't think so. I don't know that you think so. I think that we need somebody that's got a little cachet. But again, if you're, I mean, Dusty Baker is kind of a pipe dream, and I threw it in there almost as a joke. But if he's going to leave Houston, as you said, you got to kick the tires on it. I just don't know somebody of that ilk is going to want to work with AJ. And I think that you've got to find somebody that's going to be willing to, deal with AJ's involvement in this team, because at least to this point, that to me seems to be the main reason why Bo Mel wanted out.
Is there any problem that, well, there is a problem in my mind, but I'm asking you guys that when someone comes to interview for the job, it's now, can you handle AJ? Why is AJ the end all be all? Like, he has been able to continue to keep his job while things are going down. And I would have been okay with them just saying, both of you guys have to go. Last year was a disaster, rather than one stay and one go. But now that people are going to have to, it seems like it's becoming a bigger thing than it actually should be. Meaning AJ Preller is the guy you have to work with. You better get along with him.
I don't know that it's broken down that way, right? I think regardless of whether it's AJ or whoever it is, manager and GM, head of baseball operations, however you want to title it, they have to be on the same page. That is just what it is.
Yeah, I think it's a job requirement of any manager to hopefully be able to get along with the guy he's working with to try to build yourself a team.
Very rarely are you going to be in a situation like in the movie Major League, where you get the manager, you get the guys in the locker room, and it's about us. Yeah, I mean, it can work, but it doesn't work like that often. It is a much easier path when everybody is pulling the rope in the same direction.
Here's another thing, just for a little historical perspective, and I think it's important because this is all happening in San Diego. If you go back to the history of the Chargers when they were here, there were several general manager versus coaches showdowns, for lack of a better term. One was Bobby Beathard, the Hall of Fame GM, against Bobby Ross, the coach who led the Chargers to their only Super Bowl. Bobby Beathard won that. Bobby Ross left. Chargers went pretty much straight downhill after that happened. The other matchup was A.J. Smith, the Charger general manager, versus Marty Schottenheimer, who was let go after a 14-2 season. Chargers never returned to those heights again.
No.
So fans in San Diego are going to remember that kind of stuff. And I think in the minds of a lot of us, the perception is general manager here in the Padres situation wins again. Hopefully we, as a fan base, don't lose again. And it's something that the Padres have to, be aware of, because these are the people that are going to buy your tickets. These are the people that are going to support your team. And they saw general managers win in the past, and they didn't like the outcome.
That is a really good point that I hadn't thought of in terms of how deep this may go for the fan base.
Yeah.
Those are two situations that, even though I was really young in 1994, 95, when those problems bubbled up with Beathard and Ross, I still remember it. I remember it pretty clearly. And of course I remember Marty and AJ Smith and how that ended. And so, that does bring a whole nother layer to at least the fan standpoint and why they may be feeling a little jaded right now. So,
I don't think they're I think that's accurate. Yeah, for sure.
A lot of bit jaded. All right, we got a full 4 hours for you. Don't forget, the NBA kicks off today.
This is awesome. Very excited. This is exciting. I don't care about the NBA. I care about watching Tony watch the NBA. That's what I care about. And the Lakers
are playing. Be the fun part of the
and if you're tuned in on the stream, if you're watching us on the web on the YouTube 97.3 The Fan SD page on YouTube, you are in for a treat, because I know Tony's going to try to contain himself as he's watching the Laker game, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it, because I've seen him in action before. So you're going to definitely, if you're listening right now, get somewhere where you can watch at 5 o'clock once that Laker game starts.
All right. It's the first game of the season. I
don't believe you.
I don't know.
I don't believe game of the season.
It's not like deep yet.
I saw you cheering during a random Laker Minnesota Timberwolves game last year, and you were out of your mind.
Yeah, we were into the season.
We were into the season.
It was like game 20.
It doesn't matter. We were into the season. Game 1,
Game 1, he says he's going to be relaxed. We'll find. Actually, that game tips off at 4:30.
Yeah,
so you make sure you join us a little earlier.
Beto Duran, Lakers halftime and post-game radio host, will join us to preview that game. We'll have a daily gamble. We'll have our weekly visit with Marcus McNeil, Chris versus the Fan. We do have an Odyssey football and Survivor League update for you in the 4 o'clock hour. Big Five, we got it all. We'll continue to break down this Bo Mel situation when we come back. More Gwynn and Chris.
Did you miss anything from your favorite fan talk show? The Odyssey app's chaptering feature allows you to skip any segment you want on night.
Gwynn and Chris, 4 full hours. Rolling up and towards 6 o'clock. As mentioned in the opening segment, opening day in the NBA, Beto Duran, Lakers radio post-game show host, will join us. In about 20 minutes, we'll talk about the Lakers as they get ready to take on the Denver Nuggets tonight in the first game on the NBA slate. Also later, Marcus McNeil will join us to talk NFL, and that means that we might touch on what happened last night in Minnesota.
Ooh,
I don't know, Tony, did you
fun.
notice Skraby not wearing a 49er jersey today?
I bet you we don't see that jersey ever again after that whooping they took last night.
It was not a whooping, number
saying.
one.
It wasn't
Kirk
pretty.
Cousins looked like Patrick Mahomes
He
back
did.
there,
He
carving
did.
y'all up.
I
He
can't believe the
definitely did.
49ers gave up 452 yards to
Got what they gave up.
Justin Jefferson-less Viking offense. But
Justin Jefferson-less.
it was surprising to see that. Brock Purdy looked mortal, certainly in the fourth quarter.
After that first pick, I was like, this game is lost. He's not going to come back.
That's
from
a typical 49er
No,
fan. You
no,
give
it's
up
just
on
you
one
can
It's
play.
a
feel
typical
things.
Skraby for
No,
sure.
you can
that
feel
is.
things.
I see.
You can,
Well,
you can feel
I
things.
felt the air being sucked out of that stadium.
The 49ers go from certain Super Bowl champs to 5-2. But I have one question, and then I want to get to Vince on the phones because I've been dying to ask you this. You are best friends with the Vikings head coach, Kevin O'Connell.
I am.
Is that true?
Yes,
All
my
right.
former high
You
school
guys are
teammate.
best of friends.
Yes, we
you
talk
are all-
once every 5 years.
I know you do, but when you do, it's a
It's a
It's a
great
love
conversation.
fest. It's a love
sincere,
fest.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you love Kevin O'Connell. You also love the 49ers. Is
Yeah.
that true?
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. So yesterday or last night's game, 9 minutes to go in the second quarter, Kirk Cousins throws a pass to Cam Akers. He takes it all the way down to the 49er 2-yard line for a gain of 30 yards. First and goal, Vikings at the 2.
And there you're going.
They show a shot of Kevin O'Connell on the sideline yelling to TJ Hawkinson,
Mm-hmm.
get down, TJ, get down. TJ Hawkinson looks over at his coach, immediately crumbles to the turf as if he's injured. They stop play.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings get basically a free timeout
Mm-hmm.
to set themselves up for their first and goal call at the 2-yard line. This is a, shall we say, less than honest move by Kevin O'Connell. So where do you lie on this, Skraby? The move was made by your friend Kevin O'Connell against your favorite team,
I know.
the San Francisco
Will the
49ers.
real Matthew Skraby
I could
please
not
stand
wait
up?
to find out what you were thinking when this all
Well,
happened.
first, when I taught him this move, he told me, I told him that he's not ever allowed to use it against the 49ers. No, when he did that, though, there was a little bit of anger. I was
That's
like,
what I
whoa!
thought. That's what I
Whoa!
thought.
Hey, dude, like, what's
That's
going
what
on over
I
here?
thought. That's what I was thinking.
That's great.
I had
That's
to
great.
find
Why
out.
did the NFL or the referees not be like, hey, you can't do that?
First of all, he's not the only coach using
I
that.
know.
There's
No,
a
every
bunch of
but they
coach I
caught
think
him.
uses it. They just don't usually catch him on
on
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, I was a little perturbed by that move.
I
bet you Kevin
I could
O'Connell
just
gets
hear
a
you
check.
yelling at the TV when it happened.
Yeah.
I know, Kev.
I bet he gets a letter from the league office. Just a letter. I don't know that he gets fined for that, but at least a
I
letter.
think he probably gets fined
You think?
just because you can't
making,
do that.
making it so obvious. Well,
Maybe
We'll see.
TJ Hawkinson was legitimately hurt.
no, I don't think so. I
It's on
mean,
cue. He can do
he
that.
looked over at
He
his
can do
coach and went, "Oh, you want me to fall down?
Oh, my
Okay.
foot hurts.
My ankle." Yeah, it was pretty obvious, but I was wondering where you were at when that was
That's a
going
good
on.
question, Chris, because I
All
thought
right.
about that many times last night.
All right, Vikings over the Niners. We'll talk more football a little bit later on. Right now, though, back to the Bob Melvin situation. He is indeed, sources say, confirmed to be going to the San Francisco Giants. Could become official by later on this evening. Padres are in no man's land, at least for the moment. We are joined by our friend Vince in Chula Vista. Hi, Vince. How are you?
What's up, Vince?
Hey, boys. How are you? Always great connecting with you. It's obvious, right? Our problem is we have way too many GMs in San Diego with the name AJ. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be funny there, and I am rarely funny. So anyway, what bugs me about this is not moving on from Bob Melvin, whether it's Melvin moving on and going to the Giants or this mutually accepted split. That doesn't that doesn't bother me, because in business, we always say what got you here isn't going to get you there. And so what that always means is you got to be looking at change, good change, positive change. And if those two couldn't get along, this is who expected it to last? Now, what bugs me really is the messaging coming at the end of the year where both are going to stay and it's going to be great and all of this. And one thing that I've gotten to know by listening to you guys and listening to the baseball insiders, they're rarely wrong. And so when people are coming out and saying, hey, wait a minute, this isn't going to work, he's definitely going to move on, the Padres should have cut bait right after the last game of the year. If they knew this was not fixable and the sides were going to split, cut it then, build your contingency plan, and figure out who you're going to have come in here that is going to skipper this lineup, the lineup that we all thought big aspirations for this year that completely fell flat. And Bob Melvin, he's got to be accountable for that too. A lot of people want to put it all on AJ, and yes, AJ is accountable, but so is Bob Melvin. I didn't see anything that was inspiring from the skipper's position this year. We had, what did we have? 3-game win streaks, and then the guaranteed 4th game loss. And so, and then you get to September when all the pressure's off, and all of a sudden they start to win. And so the visual of this is so chaotic, and people just looking around saying, well, there it is. It's San Diego again. We have got, what got us here isn't going to get us there. And I get really nervous if they're going to pick this bench coach that's going to come in or could come in. I think the intriguing thing about Dusty Baker, if he wants to be a mercenary and come in, this is a heck of a lineup to be mercenary with. But and one last thought, guys, with regards to ownership sets the tone for what your culture is going to be. We haven't heard a peep from ownership on this, and it cannot all be on Peter Seidler's shoulders, right? There's got to be some advisors in there that are running this, and they have to engage as well, because and if that doesn't happen, I'm just fearful it'll be another tumultuous year. There's going to be big change. Can we keep our pitching staff together? Are we going to sign Soto? What free agents are we going to bring in? Who are we going to cut? Big decisions. And it just seems awfully chaotic to me. And if they would have made the decision at the end of the year and began to plan and to move on then, I'd be feeling a heck of a lot better about it. So
it would have been a lot easier for all of us to deal with, Vince. There's no question.
Would have, right?
Right. And I think that's kind of where the problem lies with the way we feel or the way we perceive the organization right now, is that there was so much uncertainty right after the season was over. Then so much was told to us that turned out to be not true. And so it's difficult for us to follow. I mean, it's almost as if there's been a little cover up that's happened here, with everybody trying to cover their own behind and, not explain and be honest and say, hey, this hasn't worked, so we need to go in another direction. That would have been easier to take than the way this is played out. Yeah,
I think all of that's true. I think Vince made some good points. I think Bo Mel does own some of the issues that we saw on the field. I think he would tell you the same. I don't know that it's always as clean cut as we want it to be in terms of how this all unfolded. What's pretty clear, at least you read the story in The Athletic, was that Peter Seidler wanted that message out there. He was the driving force behind saying, all right, figure it out. Let's move forward. Something happened in between that time and the time that it was granted for the Giants to have permission to talk to Bo Mel. What that was, we don't know.
I don't know that that's ever really a good strategy for an owner, is to say, hey guys, figure it out. Sometimes the owner needs to step in, and sometimes there needs to be a little bit of guidance.
What kind of guidance are you offering to grown men?
Instead of putting them in a room together and saying, figure it out, have a meeting, hear both sides out, come together as the president or as the owner of the team. Your job is to bring everyone together if that's what you want to do.
Do we know that didn't happen in the meeting after the season?
We don't.
We can't really go down that path if we don't know.
But if that's what his statement said, is that I have, told my wishes that I want this to stay together, and I'm paraphrasing, but at the same time, it's like, you can't just tell two guys that don't really get along, okay, figure it out, get along. I think you have to step in for something.
I mean, we also know that he hasn't, his health hasn't been 100%. So stepping in may not be something that could happen at this point.
Yeah.
And it may not be his style of leadership to this point, So I don't know. Those are things that I don't think ultimately are important. I think at this point, the Padres' focus now has to be on figuring out who's going to be the guider, the captain of this ship, as they SHIP, as they
the SS Padre,
the SS Padre, as they move into 2024. Because what's not going away is that window of having an opportunity to win a world title is still going to close at the same time, regardless of who's managing the team or not. So that's the next, I guess, action of business that has to be taken care of.
Yeah. First step is coming out and talking to the people.
Whenever that is.
We got to, Padres need to do something here before this spirals completely out of control on them. All right.
Preferably before 6:01 tonight. So
yeah, it'll probably be
that's exactly what it's going to happen.
I know, that's why I'm putting it out there that it'll happen during the show rather than right after.
All right, NBA season kicks off tonight. To that end, Beto Duran, Lakers radio postgame show host, will join us when we come back. You basketball heads, stick around for some NBA hoop talk on Gwynn and Chris.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
At this point, you have to look at it as a positive. And I'm not saying that because I'm on the flagship.
Lakers taking on the Nuggets. You said 4:30, Chris?
4:30 indeed, Tony. Less than 2 hours away.
Well, you'll see me live if you're on the stream watching my Lakers. Hopefully,
If you wonder how much this game means to him, and he says it's only the opener, so he won't be involved, he already switched the channel of the TV 2 hours ahead of time just to make sure it was locked in.
He sure did.
Hey, you might get into a good conversation, a
Don't
good
want to change
debate, and I might forget.
Something.
So we got to make sure we have that right. We do have a guest to talk a little bit about the Lakers. Good friend of the show, good friend of mine, Beto Duran, Lakers post-game radio host, joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. Beto, it's been a long time, man. How are you? First of all, congratulations on the new gig.
Appreciate it, man. Y'all be doing halftime and postgame on the Lakers Radio Network. A lot of fun. I had a chance to do it last year, and I was like, nah, because they weren't good. This year, yeah, because they're good. I ain't dumb, bro. Come on now. Chris, you know this. When you do postgame talk on a bad team, it can be fun for a couple of shows, but when you're doing a whole season, man, you don't need to hear everybody calling and complaining.
I would have quit after the 2-10 start last year.
I know you were close to probably quitting, Beto. But let's talk about this Laker team. They went out, made the trades at the deadline last year. It was a completely different team. They make a run all the way to the Western Conference Finals. They get swept by the Nuggets, who they open with tonight. But this is the first time as a Laker fan, at least in the last, 6 years, 7 years, where I felt pretty good coming into the season because most of the nucleus, everybody, with the exception of a couple guys, are all returning.
It's if I've been on your show a long time, a couple of years already, right? You hear me, you call me up, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, I'm not a cheerleader for teams, right?
No,
I'm like you guys, man. We tell you exactly how it is, and even though people are going, oh, you're a hater, I'm like, no, the year's not that good. Like, take off your purple and gold glasses, you know? They're the same people that are Dodger fans, right? So same thing. But the thing is, I'm very bullish on this team for the first time in a long time. A lot of it has to do with Darvin Ham. Like, Darvin Ham is a pro. He's cool. He knows what's up. And he now understands what it's like to be a coach in the NBA after getting the first season. Look, last year at this time, I love the Brody Russell Westbrook. I've known him since high school, but he could be a headache and he could be difficult, and you were trying to figure out what's going on. This year, training camp has been, damn, this team's actually fun. Like, this team actually likes each other. And D'Angelo Russell is 27 years old, and you forget that he was a lottery pick not too long ago. And, you know, people were like, oh, kind of write him off. He comes back. This is not. He's been playing way different in the preseason. I go on, again, it's preseason. Who cares? But you got to look at the way guys come in with that attitude and the approach. And then, of course, everything's going to hinge on if the Lakers are healthy. The fact that you have LeBron James in his 21st year, like, he's going to miss a lot of games because you want to shut him down. Like, if he plays 55, 60 games, great. That's where you want to have him around that wheelhouse. Anthony Davis playing better. Anthony Davis seems like he has the right attitude about it. I know we've been saying this for a while. When is he going to step up and beat that guy?
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to be that guy because he doesn't have that I'm going to be the dog attitude about you. But damn it, if you're not going to get 25 and 10 every single game just by showing up, you got to do that. And then, you know, what are you going to do? Austin Reeves, I mean, look fantastic. You with Team USA, he'll be a big role for them. You know, the guys that they picked up, you know, a guy like Gabe Vincent, you're like, what? Who? What? A guy from Miami, they're good. It just seems like these guys know their role and they like each other, which, you know, from a lot of times you want a team where guys don't like each other because there's just going to be dogs out there. But no, this team, like, everybody understands their role right now. And like a guy like Rui Hachimura, like, who? You know, T, you know him because you've been watching him since Gonzaga. But other people are like, who's this guy? They signed him to a 3-year deal, understands it, gets it. And that's the most important thing, Krista. When you guys have guys that understand their role and are willing to take it, it can help everybody.
Lakers started 2-10 last year, but they finished 9-2. And I think people forget before that they were actually 3 games under 500.
Yeah, with
3 weeks to go in the regular season. Then they ended up in the Western Conference Final with that hot streak. I want to go back to Anthony Davis. You touched on it, Beto. You know, can we get the guy to show up every night? I mean, because certainly when he's involved, when he's engaged, he's a top 75 player in the history of the league, maybe even higher than that. But for so long and so many stretches last year, you wonder where he was. So what about Anthony Davis makes us feel like he's going to be more consistent this season?
The fact that LeBron said it's his team. Anthony Davis, and when you have such a huge imposing figure as LeBron, who can be passive aggressive at times with, "Oh, well, it's your team," but not really, stuff like that. Like basically saying, "Hey, this is your team. Go do something about it." Like LeBron at 39 cannot be your number one option. Like you love him, but then again, if you think about it, 21 years in the NBA, and then if you add all the playoff games, if you add the Team USA, if you add all the other, that's another 4 or 5 years on that body. I don't care if you're spending how many millions to take care of your body. That takes a toll on you. So Anthony Davis, if he doesn't go, this Laker team's not going to go. It's really simple as that. If he's not engaged every single night being the dude, then forget about it. And last year they go to the Western Conference Finals, which is great, but that was a bonus, right? If you really thought they were going to the Western Conference Finals last year when the season started, there's no way you actually expected that.
Yeah.
Like, so they get there and you're like, oh, like, Denver was damn good. There's a reason they're the champions. There's a reason that the best player in the league is like, I'd rather go to my horses in my country and watch them race, because he knew that they were going to take care of the Lakers, because the Lakers weren't a threat. It was bonus for them last year. So now it's okay. You get there, build on it. Like last year I was on the radio here in LA saying, damn, are they going to the playoff playing game? Are they even going to make it that far? And I was like, kind of laughing, mocking it, because Lakers fans, we're going to win a championship. I'm like, oh, shut me up, right? At least they get to Western Conference Finals.
Beto Duran joins us here, halftime and post game Laker radio host. And Beto, we'll talk a little bit about Austin Reeves. He clearly took a big step forward last year and into the playoffs as they made that run. He then goes to USA basketball, and although the team didn't play up to expectation, he certainly shined as one of the positives. Are the Lakers expecting him to maybe be that third piece, that third guy that, teams really covet now, but because of the way the salary cap is structured, they can't really have that anymore?
He better be. Simple as that, T. Like, you don't go and get every single website and magazine to write a feature about you. I mean, how many Austin Reeves features have we had?
We've had a lot.
He's actually not even that interesting of a dude. He's from a small town who we knew was just a baller, right? He was there, and the stories about his brother playing overseas and how everybody. I'm like, people forget he went to a major university and played. He's not this underdog dude. He's a big guy that can shoot and play. You give him an opportunity and you give him the big contract that the Lakers obviously were the only team that can give him that kind of money because of the way contracts are, but he better perform, and he's going to perform. And that's his kind of attitude about it. He still has that down home Southern attitude about it, but even the rumor about him and Taylor Swift, it was started by a dude who works for the Clippers. There's nothing interesting about this guy, but there's something about him where he just wants to play basketball, and that's it. That's all he cares about. He's not your LA guy in commercials or doing anything else. I mean, look at the shoe deal he got, the Austin Reeves, the ARs. He got it from a Chinese company, I think Rigaroo or something like that.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're going to give him money. Just take the damn money. That's what you're going to do. So he's not going to be a Nike guy. He's not going to be the face of anything, but, go get what you can get. But when he's on the court, though, his teammates will tell you he is a killer. He is the dude, Tony, that when you're at practice and, there's a shooting game, that he's not leaving until he beats you. That kind of attitude, the guy who, if you play pool against him, he's going to make sure he beats you. Those kind of I can't afford to lose because I hate to lose because it's gonna stick at me kind of guy. You've been around those kind of guys where it's damn, you're wired different, bro. It's just a board game. Nah, no, it's not. That's who he is.
Beto Duran, the post-game show host, Laker basketball, also halftime, joins us here on the opening day of the NBA. And you talked about Darvin Ham and just his coming into another season now, a second season with the Lakers and being there. How has he changed from the beginning of last year? Because, I mean, he seems to have everybody's respect, not only in that locker room, but around the league now. People think this guy's really one of the real good coaches out there.
Yeah, so Darvin Ham, his background, I mean, just if you're younger, YouTube Darvin Ham broken backboard. He broke a backboard when he was at Texas Tech. For the younger listeners, you go check that out. The dude played in the NBA, but he's cut his teeth. This is his second go around with the Lakers because when he was a younger coach, he was one of the player development guys. So when Kobe was around, so he would be here at 3:30, 4 o'clock at then Staples Center working guys out, whether it was the star or whether it was the 12th man on the roster. So he put in the work, and then he assistant coaches different places. So he's always had the respect. It's just more of learning how to be a head coach. And then when you become a head coach in Detroit, one thing, Atlanta, another thing. When you're the head coach in LA, Tony knows this. Like, all of a sudden, there's like 25 members of the media there for you, and it's not just like LA Times or ESPN. It's like every single blog site, every single podcast site, everybody there because they open it up, and so you have to answer to a lot of different people. Not that he cares, but just there's different expectations because your every move is going to get scrutinized. Darvin Ham doesn't care what I'm saying about him on the radio. Darvin Ham is like, been there, done that. I know what's up. It's just more about being the last voice in a locker room. And guys have a lot of respect for him because he's been there, knows it, but it's just more of, you're going to be a man, you're going to be a pro, just do your job. But from what I've heard, because Darvin doesn't get up too high and too low, but from what I've heard, he has no problem getting into you. Doesn't matter if you're the star or not.
Yeah, there were certainly conversations that sound like he had to have with multiple guys who typically you would back away from. He's welcome on challenges. It also helps that Darvin Ham is not a small guy at all. He is.
See, think about this. Exactly.
He broke a backboard.
When you play for somebody and as a pro, you're a grown man and you don't respect him, are you really going to care if he calls your name to come into a game?
No,
nah.
No, not at all.
Not at all. We've seen plenty of coaches in the NBA where it's like, look, Van Gundy might be a little dude, but Van Gundy would get on the court and he'll pull you off from somebody in a fight.
He demanded the respect as Darvin Ham. The last one for me, Beto, LeBron, 21st season. He has clearly slowed down a little bit, but not enough to where he is not still, could be considered still one of the best guys in this league. How has he look? What are you expecting to see? Same old LeBron?
I mean, whenever you start counting out a dude like that, or you start saying, oh, he's lost a step, he does something to get for you. But the way that they're going to handle LeBron this season, where, it's the 55, 60 games. And it's if he's playing a game tonight, do you let him only play 22 minutes? Like, you really got to monitor him because this Laker team, Tony, I know you're going to love this. They should be playing sometime in June. I want to know that Tony Gwynn is calling a game in Milwaukee at the same time watching a Laker game in June.
Yeah,
because that's how this team is built. It has the potential, and I'm not saying this because I'm on the broadcast or anything like that, but if they stay healthy, if everything goes, this is a team that can definitely contend for the Western Conference, and they could get to June, but everything has to fall for them. But it has a lot to do with the way that LeBron is monitored during the season. He's not playing on the back-to-backs. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. You shouldn't have to. And if you need LeBron to give you 40 minutes a game in January, well, you're not going to the playoffs anyways. You're already cooked.
Let me ask you real quick about the rest of the league and the Lakers competition. I mean, you got Beal in Phoenix. You got Chris Paul at Golden State now. Marcus Smart goes to Memphis. Wembanyama joins the Spurs. And, of course, Lillard goes to the Eastern Conference, et cetera. What moves did stand out the most, and which moves should we be excited about keeping an eye on outside the Lakers, Beto?
Phoenix, they're just going to be gunning. They're going to come after you. You know that when they have something like that, there's a reason that they're one of the favorites to win the Western Conference along with Denver. Denver's good, but when you already win the championship, it's a lot harder when the bullet is on your back instead of when you're chasing somebody.
Yeah.
At Golden State, I don't care what you say about Chris Paul, whether he's as a starter or as a bench guy. That dude is a dog, and he will come and kill you. He will come after you no matter what. They'll always find a way, and then you have those kind of shooters. So the West is always going to be good. Milwaukee, Giannis gets that thing with Dame, but it takes a while for guys to kind of figure out exactly what's going on. And Boston, they always do something, right? They always figure something out. Like, they just figure something out, man. That's something about Boston. But the West is going to be fun to watch, especially with Phoenix. I'm a big KD fan. I've always been a fan of his, and they're coming at it. And then the Clippers, they just got so many question marks.
Yeah.
They really do.
I got a ton of question marks. Certainly, as a San Diego State alum, I'm hoping Kawhi can stay healthy and give his best effort for the Clippers this year. Beto, we'll be doing this often this year, man. Appreciate you coming on today.
I'm here for you, man. I'm here for you guys. You know that.
Thanks,
anytime.
Beto.
Beto Duran there, Lakers halftime and post-game host. We'll hear from him pretty often this year. He mentioned doing a broadcast for the Padres while Lakers could possibly be in.
You were doing that last year.
So I walked over and I went to see where the Padres are in June, and I didn't get to see all of it, but I definitely saw Philadelphia and New York. Now, Knicks, long shot. Philly, not as much of a long shot, I don't think.
Boston?
Is Boston in June
At the
too?
end of June, the last like 3 days.
I don't know that the NBA season goes quite that long.
I think it's middle. I looked at the middle of June.
Yeah, it's usually over by the middle third week of June. But I know Tony last year. Tony's unbelievable at doing it. I've seen him in the booth watch a Laker game and broadcast he was not only broadcasting the Padres last year. You were watching the Aztecs in the NCAA March Madness while you were doing Padres games and somehow getting that done, which was hard to do.
Yeah, it would have been a little bit harder if the Padres would have been playing in that Final Four game. The game hadn't started yet, so I was able to watch all of that because I would have been able to contain myself during the baseball broadcast.
You did an amazing job, my friend.
Let's get to break. 3 o'clock hour on the way. Little Daily Gambit.
down like this. Down like this. Down like this.
At time. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Skraby, all together in the Odyssey Palace studios. You can watch the show. We stream it now on YouTube. Go to it 97.3 The Fan SD. Search for that. You'll find our show. Make sure you subscribe to the 97.3 The Fan SD channel there, and it'll be much easier for you to keep track of Gwynn and Chris in the future. On the stream, you can also watch on Twitter, or X, as it were, at 97.3 The Fan SD. So we welcome those of you who are watching the proceedings. You can see that Skraby does not have his 49er jersey on today.
It would be really weird if I wore it today.
It was a little weird that you wore it yesterday.
It would be like you were a true fan if you wore it today. Like,
Yeah,
like
show up,
despite your team getting
stick with your club,
beat down.
man.
It's
Come
in the
on.
car if you want me to go get
I
it.
don't need you to go. I mean, it wasn't on your heart to wear it, so it's all good.
What'd you do? Wash the windows with it earlier today?
Yes, I got out of the car and I used my jersey to wash the windows.
Major League Baseball, of course, it is the LCS, and the Game 7's coming up in a couple of hours. The surprise, the Diamondbacks are one game away from going to the World Series. I mean, who could have ever seen that coming? They'll have a shot at it tonight in Philadelphia against the defending NL champion Phillies. John Kruk will be on hand to throw out the first pitch. Crucky going to throw out the first pitch in Philadelphia, try to get the fans in a frenzy there. But Diamondbacks got it done in Philly yesterday.
Yeah,
Can they do it again tonight in Game 7? Or will the Phillies go back to the World Series? Either way, the winner will play Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers, who really put a hurting on Houston last night. 3 runs in the first inning. I know the Seager home run was a big deal, but I thought the big hit in that first inning was Mitch Garver.
Yeah.
The 2-run single that made it 3-0, knocked Javier out of the game. I mean, Javier didn't even get through the first inning. That set the tone. And then Adolis Garcia went to work with 2 more home runs en route to being the championship series MVP. So
Revenge is a dish best served cold.
yeah, my goodness. They hit him with that pitch in Game 5, and he hit them back in Game 6 and in Game 7.
Yes, he
How many
did.
RBIs did he have in that
20.
series? Huh?
20.
No.
Yes.
In the series, he
In
had
this-
20 RBIs?
20. Oh, I don't know if it was in the series. Yeah, I think it was.
That's
think it was.
unbelievable.
Let me check.
20 RBIs.
Well,
I
he
think it
had
was
5 yesterday, and he
one
had
sh-
at least 4 in the previous games. He had a grand slam.
He was one short, I believe, of the record, if I'm not mistaken.
My goodness, man, did he mash in that series? And the road team wins every single game of the American League Championship Series, and
That's the only way the Astros have been beat, it seems like.
it's the only way
Nationals did it to them like that in the World
right?
Series.
You can't beat them if you have home advantage, because they'll beat you in your home ballpark.
He had 5, 4, 3. So that's 9, 12, 13, 14. He had 15 in the Astros series, but I think he has 20 overall through the postseason.
Okay, so that's
But still, 15 in one series is a lot.
that's crazy. I
That's
know he has
doing a lot of
20.
damage.
20 is one short of the record for this point in the.
So all he has to do
playoffs.
is get one more RBI, and
Well,
he'll tie it up.
he's a good bet to do that, and I don't know that anybody thought Bochy could do this. I mean, honestly,
I tell you who did.
who did?
Chris Young.
Chris Young
I mean,
bet
he-
on him, didn't
He
he?
pretty much said
Yeah,
as much
he bet
when he
on him.
hired him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Bochy just has a magic touch. I mean, to have these guys relaxed and in the proper frame of mind and with the right attitude, and to maneuver and work his bullpen like he did to win Game 6. and do it with a lousy bullpen, Tony. He's not doing it with a good bullpen. He's doing it with guys that are shaky at best. But he's got the touch right now. I'm so happy to see him win. And I miss him here in San Diego. And I know everybody says the Padres, messed up and made the biggest mistake of their lives letting him go. When it happened, I don't think everybody thought that, but we all certainly think it now.
Shout out to Boch, Will Venable, Nick Hudley, Chris Young. All these guys are a part of that staff, from front office all the way to the coaching staff.
Padres up and down there. Right. Even Austin Hedges is in the dugout.
Travis Jankowski,
kind of acting like, but Austin Hedges is like a bench coach. I mean, Hedges is up there cheering. And every time the Rangers get a hit, it's like Austin Hedges has become the Rangers' Taylor Swift, for better or worse, because they sew a shot of the dugout, and there's Austin Hedges right at the top of the step.
He did have a great walk-up song, the saxophone.
Jumping around.
Yeah, no, he did. I remember people in the stands with their little saxophone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, those were the days, right?
Those were the days. No, those were not the days, actually.
I know.
Those days were not fun at all.
And, of course, if you're just tuning in, Bob Melvin is no longer the Padres manager. All the sources saying that it's a done deal. He will go to San Francisco.
I know that might sound like a joke, but it's not. It's actually true.
It's true. So the Padres are now in the market for a manager. We are waiting to find out when the Padres will speak to us about this situation that they find themselves in. In the meantime, we got winners, we got losers, we got games, we got the NBA season opening up. Sounds like a good time for a daily gambit.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit's our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. My friend just texted me and said, watching the stream for the first time, you always look angry. And
He's
I'm
talking
like,
to you?
Yeah. I'm like, what?
Who said that?
I'm not going to give you their name because I don't want them to get the shout out right now.
I want to give them a shout out.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Tell them thank you.
Okay. Why?
For pointing out something that Chris and I have known for
trying to get you to soften.
Angry?
We're trying to get you to soften over the years.
Resting, face.
I do have the RBF face.
Yeah, you got that.
I do. So I'm just going to smile into the camera when they talk now. So everybody get used to this. It's just going to be one big smile. All right, let's get into it. Christian McCaffrey last night in the Monday Night Football game, we had a bet on him over under 96.5 yards rushing plus receiving. And Chris and Tony went over. I went under for whatever reason. And he ended up going under by a half a yard. He had like 35 yards rushing and 51 yards receiving or something like that.
96. Yeah. That's a hang with him right there. Missed by a half yard.
That is. 49ers and Vikings over under 43.5 total points in the game. We all went over. We are all incorrect. It was only 39 points in the game.
Yes, there was.
Matt, when you start that over.
Thanks to that crappy 49er kicker missing another field goal.
I know. Come on, Jake Moody. Come on, man.
Just trying to.
And then Greg Joseph missing that other field goal, which would have put it over. So
that's right.
Max Scherzer over under 13.5 outs last night. Chris said under. Tony and I said over. Max had a terrible night. He only went 8 outs last night, 2 2/3.
Yeah, Bochy was going to be quick with the hook.
He had a quick hook. I think that was expected.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with how he pitched. More so that they were trying to win the game.
I think it was Game 7. All hands on deck.
All right. Now to this crazy thing I saw on Bleacher Report betting on X. Now, guys, have you ever played roulette, number one?
No, I have not played.
I have played roulette.
I've played it.
If you want to waste money, play roulette.
100%.
Because you don't win.
I have a winning strategy in roulette, and I'm not going to get into it right now. I'm not going to share it with anybody.
Okay.
But I've actually won money playing roulette before, and I'll teach you guys off the air.
All right.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that does sound awesome. Chris, have you ever seen a number come up 3 times in a row?
No.
Have you ever seen a number come up 5 times in a row? No, he says
I
no.
didn't say I hadn't seen 3. So,
All right.
So it certainly
So
couldn't
at the
see 5.
Aria in Las Vegas, this person took a picture of the roulette board because the last 5 numbers were 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. I think that's 5. And then it went 3, 3. And then it went 31, 31, 31, 31, 31. So basically,
My goodness.
a sequence of numbers, and the actual odds on this, 1 in 79.23 million of the same number hitting 5 times in a row, and there were no odds for if it does it twice in like 12 spins or whatever.
That's they got to check that roulette.
They
wheel
have
out.
to check
Yeah,
that.
something's wrong with that.
Something's
That's
definitely
impossible.
wrong with that.
That's like 5 straight flips of the coin landing on its edge.
Yeah, that is true. By the way, Mattress Mac, he lost his bet, so I have to bring that up because I bring it up all the time. But his money is with the bookies now. Anyway, Chris, go ahead. I thought there was going to be a little bit more happiness on your end, but
No, I'm just so tired of Mattress Mac that I'm not even commenting anymore.
okay.
All right, here we go with tonight's bets. Last night, Skraby 1 and 2, Chris Ella 1 and 2, Tony Gwynn Jr. Wah wah.
What was
What does
that?
that mean?
0 and 3.
Oh, and 3.
So you got to bounce back tonight, Tony. Here we go. I'm pretty sure I know where you're going to go with this one. I'll let Tony start. Denver Nuggets defending their NBA championship. Open tonight with the LA Lakers. Denver is favored by 5. Tony, I'm certain you'd like to take the 5 points.
I absolutely want to take the 5 points.
I'm sure you do. I do too. Again, my strategy on this, which
All
didn't
the-
work in hockey, but every time a team celebrates by raising their banner, they play bad. So I'll take the Lakers.
All the trash talking that Mr. Malone has had for
Lakers have been gearing up for this
just
game.
eating it. All right, this is all right. We got a little something for you.
You talking about Karl Malone?
No,
Michael Malone,
Malone.
the
Oh, the
coach of the
coach.
Nuggets.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ah.
a lot of
He's been taking
Oh.
like unnecessary shots too.
Interesting.
a lot of
in the
bulletin board
offseason?
stuff.
Yeah, well, at the end of the season after he eliminated them, at the parade, a little bit after the parade.
And then when he found out he was playing him to open the season,
yeah, a little
he
more.
got back into it.
So
I'm going to go with the Nuggets then because
Skraby.
he's not going to lose after he talks all this
There's a
trash.
shocker.
I'm gonna go with the Nuggets.
After all that, I'll take the Nuggets. All right, second NBA game tonight is it should be a wild one. Phoenix at Golden State. Draymond Green will not play. The best defensive player on the floor will not be on the floor. So the over-under for this game, 234 and a half points.
Jeez.
I mean, if the score is 120 to 110, that'll still go under. I'll start and I'll say under after that. It's the opening game. They can't be that hot. Skraby?
Yeah, that's a crazy score. I'm going to say under.
I'm also gonna say under.
All 3 of us are going under that time. Okay. I would run out to my local bookie if I were you listening, and I would bet over. Brandon Pfaadt. He is the rookie pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks who will try to pitch his team into the World Series tonight. The odds makers don't expect him to last too long, though. His over-under for outs recorded is 11 and a half. So he would need to pitch 4 complete innings to go over. Skraby, will he complete 4 innings or will you bet under here?
Let me see what he's been doing.
He's
in
been
the last
doing
couple
really,
games.
really well.
I know he has.
In this series, he pitched great in game number 3.
Let me see here. 5 2/3, 4 1/3. You know, I think, wouldn't you guys say? I guess I'll figure it out. I'm gonna say under.
You're gonna go under.
Yeah, just because, like you guys said about the other game last night, like Max had a quick hook because they wanted to win the game.
All right, you're going under 3 and 2/3
After all
innings.
of that, under.
Jeez
Okay.
Louise, I'm going under too.
Tony's going under. Chris is going under. I don't think there's any way Pfaadt makes it through 4 innings. The only way he makes it through 4 innings is if they're like 4 perfect innings. But if he gets in any trouble at all, Torey
the
Lavello's
hook
coming
will be
out.
short.
Yeah. All right, into the NHL we go. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. All 32 teams in the NHL are playing tonight, which is like never happened in the middle of a season like this.
Dang.
They're calling it the Frozen Frenzy.
Okay.
With every team in action.
It's always got to be a cool name.
Always got to be a name for it. The top team in the league right now is the defending champion Vegas Knights. They are 6-0. Tonight they host the Philadelphia Flyers, who are 3-1-1 and leading their division. Vegas is favored by 1.5 goals. Vegas has got to lose sometime, or at least win by 1 sometime. 7-0 is pretty good. I'll take Philadelphia plus the points. Philadelphia is hot in sports right now. 1.5 goals. I think I said points. Tony? Or Skraby. Skraby, you're up. Flyers plus 1.5 or Vegas to win by 2.
I'm going to say Vegas.
Vegas to win by 2. All right. Tony?
I'm going with the Flyers, baby.
You can tie the Flyers tonight. Okay. See how that one works out for us. And one college football game tonight. Conference USA leading Liberty travels to Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky's in second place in the conference, so it's a showdown matchup. Liberty is favored by 5 on the road. Tony.
Did we just do Liberty not too long ago?
Yeah, we do a lot of Liberty and Sam Houston State and all these teams that play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Give me Liberty.
Give me Liberty, or do you know the end of that?
Give me Liberty. Give me
Death.
Give me death.
Is it death?
Yeah, Patrick Henry, I believe,
peace.
said that.
Give me what?
No, I don't think Patrick Henry said that.
Oh.
What did you say, Greg?
I thought you said going to the bathroom. Give me Liberty or never mind.
Give me Liberty or give me death. I said Patrick Henry. That's not right.
I think that would be maybe.
It was Patrick Henry.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I got it. I was shocked. I had no confidence in my answer.
No, you didn't.
So I ended up being right. Skraby, what do you like? Liberty or death, or do you like the Hilltoppers?
Western Kentucky puts up a lot of points from what I know.
Okay.
I'm going to choose them.
Take Western Kentucky plus 5. Liberty trying to stay unbeaten, so I'll go with Liberty also after the whole Patrick Henry thing. All right, there we go. There's our picks for tonight.
Wait, what did Tony say?
That's how it turns out. He took Liberty also,
Liberty
or death.
First,
That's
baby.
what got us discussing all that.
Liberty or peace, Liberty or death.
Yes.
I don't know who said give me Liberty or give me peace. But
that was going to be my guess.
But I know that Patrick Henry said give me Liberty or give me death. So,
all right. It's not me.
Yeah, that's our daily gambit today. So much going on in sports. Marcus McNeil's going to join us in about 20 minutes to talk about Week 7 of the National Football League. We've got, of course, Chris vs. the Fans ahead a little bit later on. Odyssey Fantasy Football Update. Big 5. It's all coming up, but Bob Melvin is leaving. He will be the new manager of the San Francisco Giants. It is all but become official.
Reportedly.
Pretty much when I say it's all but become official, that's what I mean. So thank you for
trying to correct
me. No, you don't. Not unless I ask for you to.
Okay. This is where we're going.
And what I'm asking for right now is a check of traffic on Gwynn and Chris.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by SDG&E. Good afternoon. Just a couple problems starting us off. One of them is a stalled vehicle in East.
3:25 on the clock. Game 7 in Philadelphia tonight. Lineups are in. Phillies roll out the exact same lineup. Not sure if there's...
Somebody's talking on somebody's phone.
Was that me?
It's not me.
It was me. Sorry. I didn't know it was me. I didn't do it that time. I was actually paying attention to what I was supposed to be.
And they were
Skraby.
talking NHL, right?
I think they were.
Okay, good. Because
you know, I wouldn't have purposely clicked on NHL either.
I
So.
just say that because there was a word that was close, but it was the actual item that they used to
the
play
puck.
with. Yes, the puck.
Yeah, P-U-C-K.
Yes,
There you go. Diamondbacks, they roll out pretty much the same guys. I'm not sure what their lineup exactly was yesterday, but Marte, Carroll, Moreno, Walker, Pham, Gurriel, Longoria, Rivera, Perdomo in that lineup. Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Bohm, Stott, Realmuto, Castellanos, Marsh, and Rojas is the lineup for the Phillies. That game gets set here, about another 2 hour and a half before first pitch. So we'll keep you up to date with that.
Did you play in any winner-take-all games along the way, minor leagues or San Diego State? It's got to have a totally different feel to it.
It does
for the players. I mean,
played in
every single pitch matters, and every cutoff man that you hit or miss could decide your season.
I mean,
both teams.
I played some winner-go-home games. I mean, we got eliminated in the playoffs from the Phillies in 2008.
Yeah.
Basically a winner go home in game 162 against the Giants in 2010. Needed to win that in order to win the division, or I think force a playoff. I think it would have been lost that, but there's definitely a different feel. San Diego State had 2 chances to advance to a NCAA tournament. Only had to beat BYU once. They beat us twice. So yeah, I know a little bit about playing in those type of games. You're right. The attention to detail, especially the higher level you go up, it just becomes it stands out to you when you're involved in it.
I'm excited. I've always been a bigger fan of Game 6s, and the reason I always like Game 6 is because you don't know the outcome,
right?
And what I mean by that is you're either going to get a team advancing,
or you're going to a Game 7,
or you're going to a Game 7. When there is a Game 7, you know the outcome. The winner's moving on. Does that make any sense to anybody other than me out there?
Yeah. Somebody's advancing.
Right. So that's going to be the outcome tonight. Yeah. We don't know who's going to be advancing, which is why we're going to tune in. But we know that somebody will be advancing. I think it's going to be the Phillies.
I do too.
I mean, they're too good. I can't see Arizona winning in that ballpark back-to-back days under these circumstances. But then again, I didn't see Arizona beating Milwaukee. I didn't see Arizona beating the Dodgers.
I didn't see Arizona get to a Game 7.
And I didn't see them get into a Game 7. So they've already done a bunch of things I didn't expect them to do. And I think, unlike every other baseball game, first 2 or 3 innings are very telling in one of these, because you immediately put the other team you get up by 2-3 runs early in the game. In a regular season, no big deal. But in a game like this, you can't help but squeeze the bat hand a little tighter.
We saw it last
if you're
night.
Trailing by 3 runs.
Saw it last night.
Yeah.
We saw it in both games last night. The Phillies game, or the Diamondbacks jumped out early,
right?
Never looked back. The Rangers did the same thing, never looked back.
Yeah.
And so you're right. A lot of times those early innings, unless it's going to be a one run game, like 1-0, 2-1. Those can change on a whim. But these games where we've seen early teams jump out to a 2-run, 3-run lead,
right?
Those are tough to
That's why I thought that Garver hit was big yesterday.
Yeah, I agree.
The Seager home run got Texas going, but Garver made it from 1 to 3-0 in the first inning, and I thought that was a big blow. Even the Astros could not overcome last night.
No, and they tried. They answered, but again, by getting to that 3 spot early, it kind of ate up the 2 runs that the Astros were able to get back pretty quickly. So we'll see how that one unfolds.
Now, when are they going to start? Do we know when they're starting the World Series?
I think they just released the.
Are they
World
going to
Series
start it
times,
like
didn't
in
they?
I think it's Friday.
a month or so? Because I mean, they always have to give teams time to rest up, as they did earlier in the play. No, it's Friday.
Friday, I believe, is the
Friday?
first game, and I think
Be
that the
waiting
Rangers,
3 days for.
and the Rangers are the home team throughout. They have the home field advantage.
The Rangers have the home field?
Yeah,
Because
so
I know
it's-
that they and the Phillies both won 90 games this year.
Maybe they have the tiebreaker then.
They must have
They
the
did
tiebreaker.
play against each other. They
Yeah.
had to. So
So
maybe.
and the Rangers obviously would have the home field against Arizona because they have a better record.
Game 1 is Friday. Game 2 is Saturday. Game 3 is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Game 4 and 5.
Right.
And then Friday again, and then Saturday would be Game 7.
All right. So they're not going to play on Sunday at all.
That's probably
Interesting.
smart.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Would you watch the World Series, or do you have to watch the Lions I think it's the Bears and the Chargers this Sunday night. Yikes.
What? Is
Yeah,
it really?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, it's not a great Sunday night football game this week.
Gosh,
Is Brandon Staley still the coach? Did I miss something?
No, he's still the coach.
Okay.
I don't know.
I have some comments from the stream, guys.
What do you got?
Chris looks so distinguished. I didn't realize he had glasses. That's from
He needs
YouTube.
them.
He needs them.
Yes, the screen is right here. If you're watching, it's quite a ways away. I need it to see.
Drew said Tony's shredded, like with the muscles.
Shredded.
Hey, you should see the chat here. It's all about how hot Tony is.
Yeah,
And then,
Don't knock it off.
and then someone said that I look healthy and vibrant. And I thought,
That's what I'm talking
Healthy and
about.
vibrant.
That's good.
The last one you got said you looked angry.
yeah, that was from my friend. So
It's
Friends
it's
like
the
that
ones-
who needs
It's
enemies.
the
Yeah.
ones that are closest.
I told him to lose
Scrape.
my number too. So
All right, let's step away. Let's get to break. Marcus McNeil, we'll have our weekly visit with him, talk a little NFL, particularly Skraby's 49ers. More Gwynn Chris on the way.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
All right, let's do one.
charade.
Let's do charade.
out there at the Loma Santa Fe golf course.
What's up, Chip?
Checked me in today.
Man,
Sent me on my way.
You've been getting in some golf here lately, man.
He never wants to invite me
Tuesday
anymore.
is become golf day in the
Good
Yellow
for you,
family.
Chris.
And it's
and
fun.
Lori.
Yeah, Lori's not golfing on Tuesday. She's working.
Oh, you said
but
the LOs.
I know,
I
but,
assume that meant both of you guys. Sorry.
You know, the thing is about the Tuesday game was Skraby was a part of the Tuesday game.
I had one Tuesday in this game.
And he got Wally pipped.
Oh, you bowed out and haven't been given your
That's
spot
exactly
back.
what happened.
I don't
He
ever
bowed
remember
out.
what
Somebody
happened.
replaced him.
And they like it.
And they like it.
Oh,
and we can't kick
man.
them out.
I've
You
never
know?
Brave, you played yourself. Congratulations.
Played himself right out of the Tuesday game.
I couldn't do every Tuesday, which is kind of crazy that there are 4 adult men who can go and golf
Listen,
on a Tuesday every Tuesday.
Don't deflect right now. This is about
if you're
you
wondering about the
spot.
if you're wondering about the age of the golfers in the foursome, 3 of them are retired.
And
then there's me.
So there you go, buddy.
And then there's me.
Which you don't have to be at work until 2 anyway.
That's right.
Exactly.
So I'm able to play. So thank you to
Don't
Chip.
deflect.
Had a good round today. Nobody picked up and stole my golf ball on the 18th hole like last week. So
That's
it was
good.
a successful round today.
Man,
We had a
you
question-
missing out, man.
I did it.
Where'd you say the course was today?
Right next to my house.
Oh man, that's
Like
a nice
Loma-
course.
The Loma
Sometime-
Santa Fe, it's an executive course up there. Very nice.
yeah.
Nice little
I've
course.
played that many times. It's actually
Now with Chris,
sometimes
though.
when there's a lot of traffic to the freeway, I take the back way and I drive right past Lomas. I did today. I actually always look at the golfers.
Did you see Chris?
No, but I would have. I would have
3
honked in
retired
his back
gentlemen with
swing.
him?
I would have.
You would have honked in my back swing.
If I were to
That's
see
right.
it.
Like the guy did at Mission Day last week. I'm
Yeah.
used to that now.
If I
So,
were to see Chris on the tee, you better believe I would stop traffic to honk in his back swing.
I could 100% see you doing.
and I
this,
would
too.
say, oh, there goes my friend, Matt Skraby. Always good to have him around. All right, let's check a little traffic. Then let's get into some National Football League, our weekly visit with the very funny and entertaining former Charger Pro Bowler Marcus McNeil.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Belmont Park's Fall Festival. Getting reports of a crash on eastbound 8 past the 805. No details as to whether that is blocking any lanes. And stalled car on southbound at 5 near Pershing. It's over to the left shoulder. Still clearing an accident on the Mapleview off-ramp, southbound 67. Belmont Park's Fall Festival is going on now. Fun for kids and adults. Join us for iconic rides and a pumpkin patch. Kids Free October presented by Ralph's. Get a free junior ride and play wristband with purchase of an adult wristband. Fall activities are waiting for you at Belmont Park's Fall Fest. Height restrictions may apply, cannot be combined with any other offer. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And it is time for our weekly visit with former All-Pro Marcus McNeil, then of the San Diego Chargers, now with us on Gwynn and Chris to break down the week that was in the National Football League. Marcus, how you doing today, my man?
Man, I'm doing well. I'm feeling fat after this little workout I did, though.
It's always good to get a workout in. Get your sweat on.
I'm sweating.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, the 49ers are all of a sudden sweating, Marcus. I mean, after a perfect start to the season and everybody kind of anointing them as the team, I think it was surprising to lose to one game to Cleveland, but very surprising that they would lose last night. They did have McCaffrey back in the lineup, but their vaunted defense gave up over 450 yards. Is it possible that a defense just has a really bad game like that?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the 49ers defense to have a game like that, especially with Greenwald and Warner in the game. Those are the guys who are the heart and soul of that defense. For them to give up that many yards, I wasn't expecting it. But without Justin Jefferson in the game, I don't think they were planning on some of those other wide receivers to have big games like that.
Marcus, I mean, yesterday was the first test for Brock Purdy in terms of a team taking away his best weapon and not having some of his other weapons. Could he put the Niners on his back and carry them to a victory? He couldn't do it. And the Vikings aren't, one of the best defenses in all of football. Yet he looked, this was one of the first times I'll give the Cleveland game a pass because of how good that defense is. This is the first time he looked normal.
Oh, he definitely looked normal yesterday. Average at best.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that last interception was just kind of demoralizing. just to watch him. You know, you guys got a chance. I think they missed a field goal right there at the end. So it's like, oh, man, we got a chance to go down here and actually win this game. You know, and then for you to be driving down the field and throw an interception like that hurt right there. I guarantee you that hurt him a lot. But, I mean, he seemed composed and he didn't look too rattled, but those interceptions were just, you know, just unbeatable.
Well, there are now questions about the 49ers, but not as many questions as there are about the suddenly beatable Buffalo Bills, another team that was anointed a few weeks ago as being Super Bowl bound. Since then, they've lost to the Jaguars, had a very unimpressive win over the Giants, and then inexplicably lose to the Patriots, a team that was a complete mess going into that game. They've got some injuries on defense, Buffalo does, so I understand that. But Josh Allen and that offense does not look like it's in complete tune right now, Marcus.
No, they don't look like they're in tune at all, I tell you, Chris. But I will tell you one person is sitting around cheesing today, and that's Bill Belichick. I promise you, he was sitting there telling everybody around the league to put some respect on his name, because I think that we were just looking at New England kind of being that team that, you know, yeah, y'all had the dynasty, but you're back to average. And he came out there, you know, they had a solid game plan to go against. And we all know Belichick is a defensive-minded coach. And I think he prided himself in beating the Bills on Sunday.
You know, with that being said, the defense is missing two big pieces. They're missing their best corner. They're missing their middle linebacker. Can they survive with those two guys out? I mean, if the offense is not going to be at its best, I think one of the things that they could lean on is that their defense was really good. They haven't looked as good the past couple of weeks.
No, they haven't looked good at all the past few weeks, to be honest. They just, I mean, if you just watch the way that, you know, on both sides of the ball, you're missing guys. But then you watch that tackle J.C. Jackson made going into with Stephon Diggs. Like, that's why we got you out of L.A. You know, I'm glad you're gone. And then on the other side, you know, with the Bills, you're always looking for Von Miller to put that pass rush on. And you know, I'm just ready to see those guys step up and be the big-time players that I'm used to seeing them be.
Philadelphia Eagles looked pretty good again on Sunday night. They beat Miami in a, you know, pretty good game between two pretty good teams. But the one thing everybody's talking about after that game, and everybody has been talking about, is the quarterback sneak play that the Eagles are running with Jalen Hurts. And I just want your opinion of it as a former offensive lineman. Do you like this play? Do you think they should outlaw this play? I mean, both Tony and I think they got to keep it in because not every team can do it. I mean, the Eagles are doing something that no other team can do. And what a luxury it is to be able to automatically gain 1 or 2 yards whenever you need it.
Absolutely. Come on now. I love the play. I hate the name, though. Come on now, the tush push. Can y'all come up with a softer name for such a hard down where you gotta, you know, get in there and get that 1 yard? We all know how hard it is to get 1 yard. Y'all gonna call it the tush push? Come on now. I love the play. I absolutely hate the name.
Marcus, it feels like the last, I don't know, 3 weeks we've talked about the Eagles being the best team. We've talked about the Niners. It feels like we just continue to overlook the Kansas City Chiefs and what they continue to do year in, year out. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, these guys just continue to play at a very high level. Is it them and everybody else at this point?
I don't think that we overlooked them. I think Taylor Swift stepped into the picture, right? Like, I think everybody stopped talking about Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce unless you were talking about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and they've been dominant in the AFC West for years now. They've been dominant in the NFL, always a top 5 team. They got a great defense, Chris Jones up front. And then it doesn't matter who you put with Mahomes. He just makes weapons out of them. Now he has Pacheco looking good. Travis Kelce always looks unstoppable. So the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I think if we are honest with ourselves, the Chiefs are the team to beat every year coming in because they've been the most consistent.
I think it's a great line that Patrick Mahomes makes a weapon out of everybody. And that's true because they just keep bringing in different receivers, and every one of them look like they can make plays when they're playing with Patrick Mahomes. They beat the Chargers on Sunday, your old team, and I looked at some of the odds. They're saying that the coach most likely to be fired right now in the NFL is Brandon Staley. We have talked about this in the past. He's a defensive-minded coach, but his team can't play defense. Are the Chargers and that coach in a situation now where they better prove something soon?
Yeah, they absolutely got to prove something soon. You know, they're becoming the laughing stock of the NFL, and I hate it because that's my team. You know, I didn't play for anybody else, so I'm always rooting for them. You know, whenever I'm watching them play. But, you know, some of the calls, they're not going right. To be honest, what I'm hearing is like, I hear he's Justin Herbert's guy. They have a real close relationship. So I'm pretty sure with a franchise quarterback like that, they're trying to make it work. But I guarantee you his hot seat has to be the hottest right now of all the coaches, or at least one of the three hottest of all the coaches in the NFL right now.
It's really, I think, quiet for considering how bad they've looked defensively, the type of games they've lost, and even for Justin Herbert, I think a little bit like of all the quarterbacks in the league, I think he probably gets the biggest pass week in and week out when his ball club loses. Why do you think that is?
I mean, if you could slang a ball 80 yards, I think you get a pass every once in a while. So I think he has such a big arm, and we're impressed with his throws so much that I don't think people are paying attention to like the leadership ability that it takes to be a quarterback as well. I always establish a quarterback as a general on the field. So that's what I want to see. That guy, when I look in your eyes, I know if you have one more chance to get us to the end zone, you're going to march us down there. So a lot of that falls on him. He's still a fairly young quarterback, you know, and we can't blame him for everything. He's been in almost, 3 different systems, 3 different offensive systems since he's been there already. And that's just tough on a quarterback to, you know, have to learn that many different systems, especially coming straight from college and you're not a veteran.
I want to ask you about the Lions and the Ravens game, because this was supposed to be a really terrific matchup. I think everyone was looking forward to it. The Lions have taken some great strides. They look like a team to be contended with. And then you look up and it's 35-0 in the third quarter. And Lamar Jackson is throwing to Mark Andrews and running through the Lions, and Jared Goff can't complete a pass. I mean, how does that happen on a Sunday? I'm sure it happened to the Chargers when you were playing just a game where nothing is going your way and you just can't seem to change it.
I ain't never looked at the scoreboard in the 35-0. Hey, y'all better get out there and bite somebody's ankle if you got to. We ain't going out like that. But you're absolutely right. I don't think that anybody was expecting for the Ravens to jump on the lines like that. But Jared Goff kind of looked similar to the reason why I didn't like him as much as the Rams. Like, you know, he was making some plays. I can think about him making that underhand grounding play when it's like, what are you thinking about right here? You know, and it's just like that just came to fruition. But then Lamar Jackson, who's such a dynamic player, I think that he gets overlooked a lot of times. So he rides under the radar for the most part. And teams step up, and then all of a sudden you see the Ravens blowing people out, and now we have to bring them in the conversation for one of the best teams.
Well, one of the best NFL guys that we get to talk to week in and week out, it is Marcus McNeil, the big fan of the tush push.
No. I'm not co-signing on that Charmin. Okay, that's too soft for me.
Hey, Marcus, we'll try to make it a little stronger next time. We'll talk to you. Appreciate the outing this week, and look forward to next week. Thanks for everything, as always.
All right, Chris. All right, Tony. All right, Skraby, man. Y'all have a great week.
There goes Marcus McNeil on the NFL Week 7 wrap-up. We'll have him again next Tuesday. Not the all-time greatest schedule in the NFL coming up in Week 8. Starts Thursday night, Tampa Bay at Buffalo. We talked about Buffalo with Marcus, though. They are a bit of a...
They're in trouble.
Surprise You explained their defensive woes, Tony, which I get. You're missing the middle linebacker, missing a corner. But offensively, I mean, this team is supposed to just be a juggernaut under Josh Allen, and they're not right now. I mean, teams are slowing them down. They're kind of, rallying the fourth quarter when they've never gotten the running game. They've never really gotten a running game going. James Cook was supposed to give them some running game. Hasn't happened. So
I think that's been like the missing piece out of all of this.
Yeah.
Is the fact that, when you go back, it's always been that that Allen has to be great all the time. Like, he can't just have a normal game,
right? That's a good point.
Then win. He usually has to do something spectacular. That's because they haven't had a running game. Whether it was Singletary who didn't really work out, now it's Cook. They don't have a running game that can balance off what Allen needs to do every week. And I think that's why they're struggling right now.
One thing also I've noticed about Josh Allen this year, I'm just looking this up. He has 29 carries in 7 games. He used to get 10 or 11 carries a game. I wonder if that's kind of by design, just playing in the league a little longer. Don't want to take in as many hits as he took, because he's still dangerous when he runs. He's got 4 touchdowns, but he hasn't run as often this year. The other game that I think would be maybe the best game on Sunday, and I'm just bringing this up because of Mr. Red Jersey over here, but Cincinnati is at San Francisco.
Oh, boy. I mean, Cincinnati's got to pull themselves out of a rut,
right?
Too.
And, 49ers now have dropped 2 in a row. Cincinnati seems to be starting to play a little better. Burrow's getting healthier. This was basically – 1 injury and 1 field goal away from being the Super Bowl last year.
Have the 49ers would have you believe.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't like the
Bengals would have
Cincinnati was closer probably than San Francisco was, but
I think so.
Yeah, this is close to last year's Super Bowl. So what say you about that matchup, Mr. Skraby?
Close but no cigar Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I wish I would have been in the Super Bowl.
The Bengals are the Bengals are coming off of a bye. They need to win some games.
There he goes. He's already got his built-in excuse.
He's building it up as
the Bengals had a bye. The NFL schedule makers were out to get us. Yeah.
They did. The 49ers did beat the Bengals, I believe, last year, late in the season.
Last year? That's weird that they'd be playing them again.
What, 2 years ago?
Could have happened. All right.
I don't know how it would have mattered anyway, honestly.
Yeah. Sunday night football, Bears and Chargers.
Feel better, Tony.
Yikes. Monday night, Raiders and Lions. So,
yikes.
Yeah, you can plan to watch some baseball on those nights or basketball. Coming up on the Chris vs. the Fans, dial in to play trivia.
Empire.
And Chris Ello.
Well, I'm sticking up for my brethren. I am a high school basketball official, so I stick up for arbiters in all sports.
It's time to get you up to speed on all things sports.
Yes!
With plenty of nonsense in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
In the 4 o'clock hour, we slide, and we are 30 minutes away from the Lakers' journey to another championship. That's good old NBC basketball.
NBC, NBA music in the 90s.
Man, that brings back some good memories.
Yeah.
Right there, for sure. Probably even better memories for you in the 90s since the
That
Bulls
was
were just
during the
running
Bulls
off
heyday.
championship after championship.
Man, I got real used to that. Used to that.
There it is.
There we go. Tonight,
you can hear
the Chicago Bulls take on the Utah Jazz. It's Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals.
Who were the voices?
Bob Costas. Bob Costas.
Marv Albert.
No, Marv Albert did the voice for the first 3 or 4 seasons. Then he had the big scandal. Remember the scandal where he had an affair with somebody and he was wearing women's wigs or something. I don't know what crazy thing. Yeah.
What?
Look it up. Marv Albert. It was something really, really weird. And NBC had to take him off the games for a couple of years. And Bob Costas did the NBA Finals. Yeah.
I tell you what, man.
Yeah, it was.
If
it
social
was
media was
stuff.
around in the 90s, there would be a lot of
Oh my goodness, Marv Albert would have maybe never made a comeback had it been for if there was
because there would have been photos. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Once the photos come,
Marvelous. He's a great announcer,
Yes.
no question, but a little strange. Apparently
so.
Although back in the 90s, maybe that was a little strange. Maybe now they would just welcome him on in.
Yeah,
Who knows?
That's a fact.
Yeah.
We got a little Chris versus the fan 833-288-0973. I almost forgot the number there. Your chance to take on Mr. Ella. Now, Skraby, your questions have been taking a pummeling. Like literally the last, 8-9 times we played.
Yes.
Have you been able to replenish the question?
I have, and I've thought outside the box a little bit.
Okay.
So
you're hoping for more success.
Yes.
Well, kind of, but not really.
I know there's at least one question in the third question that I think Chris is going to have an issue with, but we'll get to that.
You're already doubting one of your questions.
Well, I just know he's going to be like, well, now I know that.
You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? That is probably poorly written. So why don't we go ahead and jump into some...
it's not poorly written.
Chris versus the fan.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Skraby, we need a prize and rules.
Oh, okay. The prize. You will be qualified for the grand prize, a 2-night stay at Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino, and tickets to Frankie Valli. Catch the legendary Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons live in concert at the International Theater at Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. This show is a must-see for any fan of classic rock and roll. Get tickets and VIP packages now at Ticketmaster.com. The Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino features newly designed premier rooms, part of their $70 million room renovations, bringing back legendary Vegas fun. Now, rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, thank you, guys. No, you're good. Just let us know before the first question, and you get that one for free today.
All right. Let's get to our first contestant.
Yes, I need to give you some.
I don't feel like getting any questions right today, so I think it's gonna be a good day to call in.
Oh yeah,
good day to call in.
Yeah, I feel bad about what I've done.
Just so you guys know, Chris may start off feeling like that, but once the first question is asked, he immediately.
Well, I can't get anything wrong on purpose.
Yeah, no, it's against his whole.
Not
thing.
in my DNA.
All right, Jake, you are the first contestant of this Tuesday show. Welcome.
Do.
Is that me?
That's you, Jake.
That's you, Jake. You're up.
Okay, I'm on. Let's go.
All right.
Hey, first time player.
First time
player. Question number 2. The owner of the Falcons, Arthur Blank, made his money by co-founding what national chain store?
Probably Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Stay there, though, Jake.
We do know
Stay there.
Chick-fil-A is $1 billion business, though. We learned that last
It was
week.
third on the
Still mad I didn't guess
on
it.
the fast food list. It's either Walmart, Home Depot.
That is
Sorry
crazy.
about that,
Sorry,
Jake.
Jake.
I guess I felt like getting one right.
Robbie.
I don't think I'm going to get any right
I
today.
love when he does. I love when he does an imitation of my voice
I don't think I'm
because he
going to get
misses
any
it by
right.
like 80 miles.
He sounds nothing like you.
Nothing.
Your
like
voice
me.
sounds like about 10 other voices that he does too, which is
Yeah.
ironic. Let's go to the
I'm
next.
not going to get any right today.
Let's go to the next contestant. Robbie, come on down.
So far off.
Robbie.
Hi, Robbie.
Robbie, going
Robbie,
once.
we talked.
Going
Robbie.
twice.
All right. Sorry, Robbie.
Sold.
No.
On to Jason. Jason, welcome to the show.
Jason. Oh, there's Jason. Okay.
How you guys doing today?
We
Very good,
are
Jason.
well,
Very
Jason.
good.
Here we go. First question. Which team did basketball great Larry Bird play for his entire professional career? Professional is what that was supposed to be.
Professional.
Professional.
Yeah, I know the difference. We live in the same person. I played for the Boston Celtics.
Good job.
Yeah,
Good
that's right.
job.
There it is.
That
That
was
is
where
right.
he played professionally.
Question number 2.
I like Jason making fun of you. He said, well, where he played professionally was with the Boston Celtics.
It's fair game. It's fair
That's
game.
right.
What 2 countries hosted the Women's World Cup earlier this year?
Spain and Sweden.
Sorry, say it one more time.
Spain and Sweden.
Spain and Sweden.
Some travel.
There it is.
Stay there, Jason. Chris might forget.
He did.
Oh, I don't
That
think
means
that's
he's
true,
gonna
though.
remember.
I know.
Oh, no, I just remember.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
it is.
Exactly.
Is it Australia, New Zealand?
Sorry, Jason. Sorry.
I suck.
I'm not going to get any right.
We're moved to
And he changes my voice every time.
That sounded like Oscar the Grouch right there. Next,
Or the
contestant-
Cookie Monster.
or the
Is that
Cookie
the same
Monster.
person?
No,
no,
they're
that's different.
One's
yeah.
green, one's blue.
That's right.
Aaron on the line.
Hey, Aaron.
Welcome to the show.
Aaron.
Aaron. Hello.
Going once.
All right. Wow. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going
There
on
you
with
go.
phones
Phones are
today.
kinda
We'll go
crazy.
to Tyler. Welcome to the show, Tyler.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing, Tyler?
Tippecanoe and Tyler, too.
Yeah.
That was a presidential slogan for the 12th president of the United States.
Oh, you were alive for that. So
I was there.
John Tyler, is that his name?
John Tyler, yes, I carried around a sign.
Actually named after him.
You're actually named after him, he said.
No
Whoa.
way, really? Get out of
Well,
here.
that's what my
crazy.
parents told me.
All right. All right.
Here we go. First question. Tommy Pham played for what team before being traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks?
New York. The Mets.
You got it.
He sounded like me. York. Question number 2. Oh, one of Padre fans. Let me ask a different question. What country was the most recent Ryder Cup held in?
I don't know, but I do know the Clippers are going to sweep the Lakers again this year.
Those are fighting words.
Nice answer.
Yeah, that's a winner. Move him on to the next round.
Hold on, Tyler.
I don't care about the stupid Ryder Cup. You know that.
I know. That's why I put the question in there.
What is it? We're looking for a country here?
Yes.
Where else would they have the Ryder Cup? It's got to be in Great Britain somewhere. So it's either England or Ireland or Wales or Scotland.
He's going with Scotland, I think.
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm going
okay.
with Ireland.
He's going with Ireland.
Wow.
On to the next round. The answer was Italy.
Yes.
Oh,
They did it in Rome.
not even close. I had no clue. Would have never got that. I thought they always
it just happened
don't
like
they
3 weeks ago.
I know, but I don't watch the Ryder Cup or care about it or care about anybody who cares about it.
You don't care about me then.
I know.
We did the Dan Campbell one. You could take that one off. Here we go. Question
Oh,
number
we did.
3.
All right, Tyler, this is for the big money.
The second one is the one I was referring to.
Well, why not? Let's go with it. What foreign auto manufacturer has won the last 3 F1 titles?
Who the hell would know that?
Yeah. Is Bugatti a thing? I don't even know.
Bugatti
No,
is
it's
a thing, and it's a motorcycle, but hey, you name something. Stay right there, Tyler.
He woke up.
Everybody, this is so easy. It's Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Wow, Tyler, stay right
All
there.
right,
You
Tyler,
have
you
won.
got it. You got who was
Nice
it?
what? Nice
I
work.
can't believe the answer is going to be something I've never heard of.
No, you've definitely heard of it.
Oh, okay.
Ferrari has been dethroned as the manufacturer to go to.
That's what
Honda.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's taken over the game in F1.
Honda
for the last 3 years.
Titles.
Like the same people who make the Honda Civic?
Yes, that's why you probably
Really?
I
never
don't think
guessed
the
it.
same people. But
I
That's a
mean, the
different
Honda
department.
Civic
Yeah.
isn't exactly known as a high-performance vehicle.
No, but Honda is an IndyCar. I think. I
God, I
don't
would
know
have
if they're
not
in
got
NASCAR,
that.
but I know Toyota's in NASCAR.
I actually find that to be an informative answer.
Oh, all right.
Honda out there
So,
doing
Red
big
Bull
things on
Racing,
the
Honda.
F1.
Honda's doing some good things out
They
there.
let some of the engineers that work for Honda that like have been pulling their hair out for a long time, making the cars that they send to us.
Yes.
It's like we're gonna give you guys a special project.
A special one.
Interesting.
You now need to find a way to put 8 cup holders in the car.
That's
the project.
That's pretty interesting, though. I would never have guessed Honda was at the top of that
That's why I
list.
knew
Never.
Chris was not
Never.
gonna
All right, let's step away. Let's take a break. When we come back, Odyssey football, fantasy football is going well for some, not so well for others. The Survivor League
It's not going well for any of us.
has eliminated all 3. We'll discuss when we return. Here's some traffic.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Lowe's. You're heading down the coastline, southbound at 5, just before Manchester. Watch.
debates back and forth, even though he says it's just the season opener and it really doesn't matter that much. The Lakers and Nuggets are pretty close to tip-off in the Mile High City. The Nuggets are currently receiving their NBA championship rings. And we know what that means, Tony. The Lakers are going to just jump all over them tonight. The Nuggets are all celebrating, and they're in that kind of mood. So we'll see if the Lakers can knock them off. That starts in 15 minutes, kicking off the NBA season. Then at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, it will be Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. The Diamondbacks going against the Philadelphia Phillies. Ranger Suarez will start for Philadelphia. Brandon Pfaadt, the rookie, will go for Arizona. By the way, thanks to everybody on the stream, the YouTube streaming chat room.
Yeah.
Evidently, when we're playing Chris versus the fans, everybody tries to guess all the answers on the chat room. So that's kind of fun.
That is kind of fun. I was looking over and who was it? Mike said Honda before we actually gave the answer.
Came up with that one.
Yes,
Very
we
good.
also had a
Mike.
Red Bull, which was pretty good because it was the Red Bull racing team, but they don't make the engine. I don't believe.
You racing fans out there got a little love on the program.
I love racing.
Yeah. Do you really?
I do.
You watch it?
Yes. I watch IndyCar. I watch NASCAR.
You know what I think is cool is that they are like building like these tracks like in the middle of cities. Like they're doing one in Vegas right now that they, basically the backdrop will be the strip.
Yeah. You like drive right by the Luxor.
Right. They're having, I'm sure for the folks who live out there, it's probably a headache as they build this whole
track.
And
I heard
right
the
now.
tickets to go to that race in Vegas, like the weekend package or whatever, is like thousands of dollars. They're charging out the kazoo for those.
Out the kazoo.
Out the wazoo. I don't know. Do you like that better than kazoo?
No, I like kazoo better.
Kazoo is better than wazoo.
Kazoo is way better. Would you guys ever go to a race like that?
I think I would.
I've been to one.
I've never been to one.
Well, they used to have a Formula One race in Long Beach every year.
That's
the Long
right.
Beach Grand
They did.
Prix.
They did.
And my uncle or somebody lived in one of the high rises in Long Beach, and we'd go up to his place on that Sunday and
that's probably
over the balcony and watch the race down below. And that's when I began my distaste for racing because it is so noisy.
It is noisy.
It is so loud.
I used to grow up near Sears
believe
Point
it.
Raceway up there in the Bay Area, and you could hear those cars from like 10, 15 miles away. It's insane how
It
loud
is
they
really,
are.
really loud. So that's the only thing I hold against racing.
I have one question, actually. I know we're supposed to do the Odyssey Fantasy Football update, but
Sure.
Yes, we are.
What do you got?
I'm
Go
6-1
ahead.
and leading the entire league.
Oh,
You asked me what I had.
I was about to pay him tribute too, but now that he said
Wow.
that, I'm
I'm
avoid
just
it.
saying that to be funny.
That was strong.
Drew Morrison's asking a question about us. I think this is kind of fun. How do y'all get in the radio? I will start.
How did we all get into radio?
Yeah, I
Oh.
will start. I was an intern for a rock morning show and worked for free for about 3 years. And then I got a job as a producer for a news talk station, then got a job as a sports talk guy and made my way over here. So
That's very interesting, Scrape.
Yeah, my story's
very-
far too boring and
What?
far too long.
I thought this was a good story time.
Nah.
I'm sorry, Drew. I tried.
Drew, I got into radio after I retired playing baseball.
There you go.
I remember when Tony used to come into the same studios that
I kind of
was
knew
in.
I kind of knew I wanted to get into radio because
Yeah.
I would go in and guest. I don't even know how I
Host.
should
Guest host.
guest host. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was fun. It was natural for me to sit
was.
here and talk sports.
I remember Tony was guest hosting on the show that I worked on, and he definitely caught the bug. I remember you catching the bug in like those few weeks that you did it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
Chris
I don't really
Ello
have
on
a
the
great
other- yeah,
story.
Chris
I
has
mean,
been
I
in
was
it
a
forever.
journalism guy. I was a sports writer, and then I did some PR work. And when I was working with the hockey team, the Gulls, I talked my way on to pregame show host of the Gulls. Wanted to kind of try a little radio, and then got over to the famous Mighty 690 radio station way back when, doing sports updates. That's
big
how
time.
it started.
Legit.
Yeah, that is legit. Skraby was the best intern ever. Thank you, Diesel. That was true. Skraby, same origin story as Woods from Anthony. I don't think we have the same origin story. I was an intern. I think Woods came in as a co-host because he had known the guy who started the show. Like, and that's not why he only got the job. He was in sales, and
so this segment is going to be all about you, because now we're going to talk about fantasy. And now,
I'm going to avoid him in fantasy because if you look at our updated standings in the Odyssey Intercom's Finest League, our old friend Thomas Andrews is leading the West Division with a 5-2 record.
Yes, he is.
I am in the cellar of that division at 2-5, despite having scored the 4th amount of points overall in the league. I finally snapped a 5-game losing streak this week. Had to beat my wife to snap the streak, but God knows I beat her because I just really needed a victory. On the other side, I see John Serio, our friend from down the street here, is in 2nd place, and Tony Gwynn Jr. has moved up into 3rd place at 4-3.
Tony's sneaking up the charts,
up a little bit.
Little three-game win streak.
That's huge right now.
Yeah, he's doing all right. Let's see. The leader in points 4. Well, I see John is in 2nd, and my godson Connor is 3rd in points scored. In points allowed, the team that has allowed the fewest is, 2nd place again is Thomas Andrews in that category. That's our Odyssey Fantasy Football League update.
The Survivor Pool.
Let's get on to the Survivor Pool.
Survivor Pool's bad.
Yeah,
it ended for both Skraby and I
ended for
this
me
week.
a lot longer ago.
Skraby had a bad reason for having his end, though, because he
did.
He, by all rights, we told him to take Seattle last week to stay alive. I could not choose Seattle because I'd already picked them earlier. So I went with Buffalo on the road, which is, anyway, I'm still surprised they lost, but they did. So that knocked me out. But Skraby could have stayed alive had he, gone with the pick. But he hates the Seahawks so much that he just couldn't bring himself to pick them.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you make decisions with your heart, not your head.
I like how you guys are speaking for me. I thought the Cardinals were going to beat the Seahawks.
No, you didn't.
There's no way you thought
really
that.
did.
And
Yes,
if you did think that, that was your heart telling you that the Cardinals were going to beat the Seahawks.
Yeah,
I really did believe that. The only person from the station still alive is Ben Higgins from the morning show.
Good on Ben. Oh. Good for him. So he's still alive. He's good at this kind of stuff.
Still alive, and I was like, what?
There's 10 people total left. And Boston Mike, he made an appearance on the stream the other day. He's still in there. Boston Mike picked someone pretty gutsy. I think he picked the Browns over the Colts, and that almost did not come true for him, but he is still through. But 10 people
out of like 130, 40 people.
Like that. Something like
very
that.
Good on the rest of the people that are still alive. We were playing for nothing but pride there, but I will tell you, each and every Sunday I got kind of nervous about the team I picked because I wanted to stay alive, and I was definitely bummed the other day when I was eliminated. Back to the Odyssey Fantasy League. Skraby really is having a crazy good season. He's 6-1,
6 straight wins.
He leads the league in points scored, and he leads in points scored by almost 50 over the 2nd place guy. He's also allowed the fewest
by far
by a total of about 80 points. And I added this up. Skraby is 6-1. He's winning his games by an average of 38 points per week. So that's an average margin of victory. So he's been blowing people out right and left. And I mean, who's on your team? We know that you have Kelsey. We know you have Lamar Jackson.
I have,
and those guys are great. But what is doing it? You're getting 150 points like every week.
Your Chase, Kelsey, and Jackson LLC really pisses me off.
I hate his name. Yeah, Chase. He's got Jamar Chase. It's just a stupid name.
Chase, Kelsey, and Jackson. Well, last year you said my name was stupid too, and it was 2 and on anonymous, which I thought was great.
It was stupid last year, stupid this year.
The last 3 weeks I'm not trying to gloat. I'm trying to.
Yeah, you are.
I'm trying to make sure that Chris knows that I scored the most points in the league, so it doesn't matter if I got the least amount of points scored against me because I would have beat you anyway.
I'm just saying you're crushing everybody. I don't know how much more of a compliment I can give you. What more do you want me to say?
He's got Breece Hall. He's got Swift.
DeAndre Swift.
He's got CeeDee Lamb. He's got Jamar Chase. How did we let you get this?
Man.
Oh, you had the first pick, didn't you?
No, I had like the 11th pick.
What? in the world is? Oh, you had Chase as a holdover. Didn't
I
you?
Chase is
He
a
was an
holdover,
eighth-round
but
keeper.
still,
He's a keeper.
still got a remarkably
His
good team right
projected
now.
score against the 49ers, which I don't understand how this is possible. Jamar Chase is 22.2. I don't get that part.
Your
but-
projected score for the week, I'm looking at it right now, with if you don't make any
140.
changes, is 141 points. I project to about 115 or 20 every week, which I think is okay.
That's normal, yeah.
Yeah, you're not normal.
That's normal.
I
he
don't
says.
want to get too ahead of myself because I've done this before and I've lost fantasy football leagues with good teams.
You're going to get ahead of
I
yourself. at some
probably
point.
will.
You
Yes.
will get ahead of yourself, and mark my words, come the playoffs, somebody who shouldn't beat you will.
Oh, Mike, Boston Mike is listening right now. He said, Skraby, any chance you can FedEx me some In-N-Out if I win the Survivor pool? If you win the Survivor pool, I'll think about trying to do that.
Good luck, Boston Mike.
No doubt.
Good luck. All right. Yeah.
Big five.
That's you.
You. Me?
Yeah, that's you.
All right. Big Five's coming up next, is what everybody tells me to tell you. So I will tell you.
Previously on the John Cantera Show.
You know, as far as Juan Soto, I would love to have him here. I mean, to be honest with you,
tip-off is about to pop off in Denver. 4:36, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris LO, Matt Skraby, Lakers, Nuggets are literally seconds away from the first game of the NBA season.
You know what? Jokic just went over and grabbed a hold of the basketball, but just before the tip-off, evidently wanted a feel for it. Like, what ball do they choose? Does anybody know this? Like in high school, the kids all warm up at both ends of the floor. There's dozens of balls in play.
Yeah.
And then we as the referees walk over to the home team and go, somebody give me a ball. And somebody throws you a ball. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not that good. Tony's already celebrating.
You need to get to the stream right now.
Real quick.
You got to watch him watch
Real
this.
quick, to answer your question, what happens in the NBA is as both sides are warming up, doing their thing, the referees meet at center court along with the captains. They let both sides, I think the referees get about two balls, maybe three.
From each side?
That they like.
Right.
They'll have the players bounce them, dribbling the two captains, and then they both decide on the ball, and then they go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little better than what we do in high school.
Yeah,
Because some nights in high school, we end up with a really crappy ball.
Yes. Oh, my God.
And I'm like, we're going to play the game with this? This is terrible.
There were times that I still remember this in high school where I was like, were you guys dribbling this like on the concrete outside? Why does this ball look like this?
Yeah. Some balls are better than others.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And that sounds like a promo.
Yes, it does.
Wait a minute, Tony. You've got our first of the season.
Wow.
There he goes. There he goes.
We have some traffic and then the big five to get to.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air conditioning company. Got a number of things going on here. Let's start with the coastline. A crash on the Del Mar Heights Road on-ramp to northbound 5. It's over the right shoulder. Southbound 5, right before Poinsettia. We have reports of a stalled vehicle in the slow lane. Also going to find on the southbound 805, right at the eastbound King Freeway, a stalled pickup truck. Looks like that may be partially blocking lanes. And on the Arrow Drive on-ramp to southbound 15, accident over to the left shoulder. Looking for the best in HVAC? Choose Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company with free diagnostics on all repairs and estimates. See why over 1,100 happy customers have given Air Max 5-star Yelp reviews. See Air Max today at airmax.com. I'm Kelly Danek with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, I was hoping that Tony would continue to say, there's the big man. That's what he's doing in here. If you have to go to the stream right now and watch Tony watch Lakers basketball while he does the show, go to YouTube, 97.3 The Fan, search that. You'll find us. Or go to our Facebook page, 97.3 The Fan, or our X profile. We are all live right there. So, with that said, let's get into
number 5.
The Big Five. Now, guys, let's fast forward to this time next year. The Padres, just imagine this. The Padres are on the doorstep of the World Series by making it all the way till the NLCS. Tony, is all forgiven for what we are going through now if this scenario comes true?
If they get back to where?
The NLCS.
You know what? Before you answer that, for some ungodly reason, I thought we had recorded the Big Five.
What?
And I was about to leave the room and just check out for the next half hour while you played a recording. So, and then when you started asking him the question, I'm like, what is he doing? All right, go ahead.
That is
sorry.
That is really
snapping
funny.
back to reality.
You're back
Back to reality.
All right, let's NLCS. Is it all forgiven?
What we're going through right now.
Probably. I think. Yeah, man, it would be tough. It would be tough to make the argument right now as we sit here and are kind of dealing with everything that's happening. That if somebody came up to each and every one of us and said, you know what, next year you guys are back in an NLCS.
Yeah.
That we would be like, I think we probably take that. Now, that's ultimately not the the end goal. I think the window is the window, and you want to win a title in that window. But I don't know if things will be forgiven, but it will certainly calm the waters a lot.
A lot.
You think so, Chris?
I want to see Mike Shilton on a float riding down Harbor Boulevard in a parade.
We've been waiting for this parade forever.
I know, forever.
We keep talking about it too, and it seems like
AJ Preller better be in a car riding in a parade. Otherwise, he might be in a bus on his way out of town. So, I would say that they better do something after this mess that they've gotten us into. Yes, but it would probably be forgiven for sure.
You know what I got a lot on the stream for new manager? Phil Nevin from the Angels, but he wasn't on the list.
I like Phil.
He wasn't on the Athletics list.
Yeah, or the CBS Sports list.
No, I don't think he's on AJ Preller's list either. Doesn't sound like a fit.
All right, here we go.
Number 4.
USC is not having the season quarterback Caleb Williams envisioned, and some think that he is over it, pointing to after the game against Utah when Williams didn't even get up off the bench for the post-game handshakes. Emmanuel Acho posted this on X, and the discussion followed. He said, with national championship hopes gone, Caleb Williams should consider sitting out the rest of the season. The Heisman is a long shot. CFB playoffs are even less likely, and he won't play in the bowl game. The risk of playing far outweighs the reward. Business decision. So, Chris, should Caleb Williams sit out the rest of the season?
I don't think he should, but I think there's a good chance he will.
Oh, okay.
Because I think Caleb Williams is, and not that he shouldn't be, but I really think Caleb Williams is a lot about Caleb Williams. And, you know, isn't he like all about getting like ownership of the NFL team that drafts him?
I think we have.
Is that unfair?
I think we have to be careful with all that stuff because none of that has been.
It's all been rumored.
It's just
stuff.
rumored stuff.
I did read that
too.
Yeah, and
right.
you might not even.
Well, I have this perception of Caleb Williams as being a little selfish. So that's just a perception, and that's not neither here nor there. It may not be true, but I think there's a chance he would do something like that and not, you know, kind of set the trail. I mean, McCaffrey was the first.
I was thinking about him.
McCaffrey was the first guy to sit out a bowl game.
Yeah.
That I remember, you know, big name guy. Now everybody sits out bowl games, but I don't know that anybody's ever started sitting out before the end of the season before. So this could blaze a new trail. It wouldn't shock me completely. I don't know why. I would never want to do it personally. I'd want to play as many games as I could. Have fun.
I mean, if we are to believe all of these rumors, then him coming back to play his senior year because he wouldn't want to go into the draft to whatever said team, it all doesn't make sense. So I don't necessarily think that he might sit out of a bowl game, but I don't know that he's going to sit out the season. And as much as I love Emmanuel Acho, I hate that he tweeted this and put it in the atmosphere for everybody to chew on, including Caleb Williams. And it's not to say that he wasn't thinking of it his own or hadn't crossed his mind, but finish out the season, man. I mean, not only that, your head coach, Lincoln Riley, brought you with him when he left Oklahoma to go to USC. I think, you know, and he wanted to bring you with him. So I think you should stick it out. Play. You didn't play well these last 2 games. It wasn't like you played great. Matter of fact, the more I talk about it, the more I think it's not going to happen. Because, you know, I've seen a lot of stuff on scouts who are watching him, and he's not playing well. Ultimately, you need to have your stock as high as possible if you're going to do that. You mentioned McCaffrey. His stock couldn't go any higher when he decided, all right, I'm sitting out of this bowl game.
Right.
I don't know that Caleb Williams, after these last 2 games against, you know, marquee talent, and I know he won a Heisman last year, but, you know, the business is the same up and down. What have you done for me lately? The last 2 games he's put on tape have not looked good, and I think he'll finish at least the regular season.
All right.
Number 3.
Alex Rodriguez has not had his number retired by the Yankees yet, and even gave out his number the Yankees even gave out his number 13 to Joey Gallo when he was a Yankee. A-Rod was on WFAN in New York and was asked if it bothers him that the Yankees have not retired his number yet. Here is what he said.
No, and look, with my job on TV, and Tiki, you know that I'm too critical to the Yankees, and that doesn't help my case. But you know, I get paid to tell the truth, and if you guys ask me a question, I'm gonna tell you exactly as I see it and not sugarcoat it because I want my number retired. If it's not retired, then so be it.
So does it bother you, though, that it's not retired?
Yeah, of course it bothers me.
Does that bother you more or the Hall of Fame bother you?
I would say this. It's less about bother, but of course it would be nice to be recognized in, one of the coolest, places to be in Yankee history. But, that's not my decision.
So there you go. A-Rod on with WFAN talking about that. Tony, should the Yankees have retired A-Rod's number by now?
I don't know. I don't know if A-Rod's done enough as a Yankee. I think, his trouble is also going to play a factor in it. And, one thing I respect a lot about A-Rod is despite all of the chaos he was surrounded in, he acknowledges his mistakes and owns it in every sense of the way. And so I'm not surprised to hear him say that, he's not surprised. And I think he kind of clarified bothered may not be the right word, but certainly to be a part of Yankee legacy. I went out to the monuments they have in center field when we were there. It's sweet, man. And to be a part of it, I'm sure would be awesome. But as he said, it's not his decision.
Chris, should the Yankees retired his number by now?
I don't know. Do you think the Mariners should retire his number?
Or the Rangers?
Well, he only played with the Rangers for 3 years, but he played with the Mariners for 7.
Yeah.
Played with the Yankees for 12. I'm just checking that out.
I hadn't seen yet. My caveat is I haven't seen. I'm not familiar with what A-Rod's numbers were as a Yankee.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, hit 350 home runs as a Yankee, hit 283, made a bunch of all-star teams, won an MVP with the Yankees, won 2 MVPs with the Yankees. So he's probably deserving. The problem with the Yankees, they're running out of numbers.
Yeah, they can afford to give him 13.
Every single digit number's already been taken. You can't even get a single digit number with the Yankees. They start giving away 13 and are retiring that.
They're gonna have to fix that.
Yeah. So
isn't that why they said that they wanted the managers to stop wearing numbers and like coaches because they need those numbers?
They're gonna have to do something different besides retired because they just have too many.
Yankees, yeah. But I'm going to say no, just because I don't feel because of what Tony said, the problems he's had away from the game or, the stained name, I think hurts his chances right now.
All right.
I mean, the Yankees can make an argument that, listen, unless he goes into the other Hall of Fame, he's not going to be good. Like, and not every organization could say that, right? But the Yankees probably can.
Michigan State suffered its worst home loss in the 100-year history of Spartan Stadium Saturday night, which was a 49-0 defeat against rival Michigan. But that defeat followed an embarrassing pregame incident in which a picture of Adolf Hitler was displayed on the video board as a part of a trivia question about the former Nazi leader's birthplace. The image, it basically says what country was Hitler born in, and had a picture of Hitler, and the answer is Austria.
That's what they chose? Is the preseason trivia?
Hold on. The image quickly went viral, and Michigan State issued a statement during the game apologizing for the incident, which is attributed to a third-party source that will no longer be used. A day later, a university employee has been suspended with pay, and the Board of Trustees called for accountability. Also, the person that they took this trivia stuff from had no idea that Michigan State was using it, nor were they paying him. So now they're going to possibly have a lawsuit on their hands as well. Chris, with all of the turmoil this year, did Michigan State put its football program behind the rest of the Big Ten?
Irvin Magic Johnson thinks so.
Really?
Yeah, he tweeted out his embarrassment the other day. Yeah, tweeted it out. Said, we deserve better. We got to know what's going on with our football program on and off the field. He didn't like losing 49-0 to Michigan.
Yeah, I'm sure that really was it.
After the Hitler incident. Didn't they have trouble with their coach at the beginning of the year and have to fire him?
Mel Tucker.
Yeah, that was a mess.
They have a big old lawsuit.
But
they had that thing last year where some players attacked some of the other players.
That was the Michigan game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Michigan. I believe it was Michigan State, and the Michigan State players were attacking the Michigan players.
But they haven't fallen behind the rest of the Big Ten.
I mean, basically, are they just?
They're not lower than Rutgers. They're not lower than Northwestern, but they've fallen way down there. Yeah, they're getting close. I mean, somebody's got to be held accountable there. And Magic Johnson wants to get to the bottom of it.
That's a better question. Who has fallen further from grace, Michigan State or Northwestern?
Too late. You already asked your question.
Yes, Tony. Did Michigan State put its football program behind the rest of the Big Ten with everything?
I think I have to agree with Chris. It's not behind Rutgers, Northwestern, but it's headed there. You fired your coach. You got Hitler questions on the board. It's like some of this stuff just seems so avoidable.
Right.
It's like it just seems like this is. That didn't even seem like that.
It's
was
amazing
a real
how
story.
many bad choices these people make when it comes to hiring coaches. Like, really? I mean, are these coaches are they able to fool you that badly that you can't see through any of this stuff?
That's my thing is how are they able to fool you that badly and within a certain amount of time somebody else has already uncovered it?
I know. That's right. Yeah. I don't know. People making decisions are sometimes no better than the decisions and the people they make.
In this case, Michigan State's coach did something in real time that got him fired. So
that's true.
And he's fighting it. So, well, I'm sure
He
we'll
said
hear about
there's
that.
new information that we haven't seen yet.
Okay, great.
After he already said that he did it, I thought.
Anyway, there's a lot of he said, she said, school said, all this stuff.
Number 1.
The Miami Dolphins brought Chase Claypool to the team after being dumped by the Bears. Now a theme is emerging, and Dolphins fans are terrified. Claypool didn't win a game with the Bears, and combined, combined with the Steelers, he's only been on a team that has won a game twice since the start of 2022. The Dolphins' loss to the Eagles marked his 13th loss in a row. Tony, is Chase Claypool bad luck?
I know this is going to pain you, but no, he's not. He's just been on some really bad,
the Dolphins,
bad football teams. Not counting Miami, he just happened to get there
before they got hosed by the officials.
Right. Hey, Skraby, are you able to read that whole question, or is it blocked off on yours?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's blocked out.
That was impressive that you were able to complete.
I wasn't completing it very well.
Not seeing the entire question. No, I don't think he's bad luck. I think this is just one of those weird sports things.
13 losses in a row.
Yeah, but he played for the Bears last year.
Okay.
Who just
you have to
won
be a Dolphin fan to have this negativity, though. When I found out they were going to be on Hard Knocks, the in-season version, my first thought was, oh, no, both the Colts and Cardinals fell completely apart once they got on that show the last 2 years. So I'm worried about that, but I'm not worried about Claypool.
You know, there's already been a bunch of videos out there showing how many blocks he missed in the game the other day. And
who, Claypool?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't even see him in the field.
He is learning a completely new offense in anything he learned. And
I didn't even see him in the game.
And I'm sure Mike McDaniel's offense is not like
they had
the
package
easiest to learn.
Apparently, they had a package of plays ready to go for him, but the game script didn't work out, so he didn't get his plays. But there was a play where he had to block the tight end or double team a tight end.
So says Clip,
and he ran right past the guy, and the Dolphins guy got
He wasn't
tackled.
the only one who missed a block in that game, let me tell you
he
something.
may have or may have not missed a block, but what I love about those videos is they could literally be picking up a play that he's supposed to actually run around, and they could tell you, oh, he's supposed to block this guy right here.
Yes, that's right.
I will say that this was a video from a fan, so
There you go.
but he did miss the block. The block. All right. That's
as
it.
Tony said, maybe he wasn't supposed to make the block. Maybe he was supposed to
a
go run
play.
around.
It was a run play.
You never know, Scrape.
Oh, so now
Never know, man.
I honestly didn't see him in the game. What number was he?
I think he's
definitely the biggest
I
wide
don't know.
receiver you guys got. You guys got.
Tallest?
here.
Yeah,
for
Yeah,
sure.
that's probably true.
That is a good question. What number is Chase Claypool?
Don't know.
Well, let's.
Well, that was very good recorded Big Five. Thanks, baby. I'm back now.
Let's
Oh,
slide.
here's the article that I saw, and here's the title. Seems Chase Claypool is already living up to his reputation in Miami.
Yeah,
Let's get to break.
That's a little early.
When we come back, 5 o'clock hour, happy hour. More
Is
Gwynn
it
Chris.
going to be happy, though?
Maybe because the Lakers are losing.
Uh-oh.
With plenty of nonsense in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
And away we go with a happy hour on Gwynn and Chris. Final hour of our Tuesday get-together. 5:01 is the time. We're in the Odyssey Palace studios. Chris Hello, Tony Gwynn Jr., he's the dejected-looking one in your TV cameras if you're watching on the YouTube, the stream. Matt Skraby, he's the angry-looking one if you're watching on the YouTube stream. Tony's dejected because the Lakers are getting beat up here in the first quarter. Just ended in Denver. Nuggets 34, Lakers 20. Defending champs, fresh off getting their rings and the whole celebration, come out shooting lights out, Tony. 61% for Denver in that first quarter.
This reminds me of the playoffs.
So we'll see if they cool down a little bit. Lakers
Western
are just
conference finals, I should say.
Yeah, Lakers are just 2 of 3 from the arc. are 2 of 10 from the arc. Taurean Prince was 2 of 3. Everybody else was 0 of 7 from the 3-point arc. So it's end of the first quarter, 34-20 Denver over the Lakers as the NBA season gets underway. Game 7 of the National League Championship Series will get started here momentarily. Ranger Suarez will throw the first pitch for Philadelphia. Brandon Pfaadt will counter, the rookie going for the Diamondbacks. Who could have ever believed that a team that, honestly, they finished only 2 games ahead of the Padres. That's how good or mediocre, if you want to say it, Arizona's season was. They finished just 2 games better than the Padres, but they are 1 win away currently from the World Series.
You know, it's
not
funny
to say we told you so, but we kept saying if the Padres ever do sneak into the playoffs, anything can happen, and here's proof.
The Padres were the Diamondbacks last year, right? I mean,
right, pretty much.
Maybe not from the standpoint of nobody was expecting them to do something, but they won. How many games the Padres won last year? 87 games, and then got hot. And that's exactly what the Diamondbacks have done to this point. They need 1 more win, and they're headed to a World Series.
Diamondbacks have gotten a little closer to the World Series this year than the Padres did last year because they've been able to force Philly to a 7th game. Whoever wins it will, of course, take on Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers in the World Series. Skraby dug this up a little earlier, but the Rangers will have the home field for the World Series, so it'll get underway in Texas on Friday night. The Rangers may want to turn down the home field advantage, being as they are 8-0 on the road in the playoffs this year. But the reason they'll get the home field advantage, believe it or not, if the Phillies play the Rangers in the World Series, those 2 teams actually played the opening series of the year against each other all the way back in March. First 3 games were played between Philadelphia and Texas. Texas swept that series. As little as that will have to do with the fact that they could end up having a rematch in the World Series. But that is why Texas would get the home field, because they and Philadelphia both had the same record. The tiebreaker would go to the Rangers, and Rangers will have home field over Arizona simply because they had a better record. Although Arizona took 3 of 4 from Texas during the regular season. So those are some of those numbers. The big news in San Diego, of course, if you're just tuning in, it's the same news as we had yesterday, only it's more confirmed. Bob Melvin will indeed become the manager of the San Francisco Giants. All reports are saying that. It has not yet been made 100% official, but it's about as official as it can be without it being official. So Padres are in search now of a manager. Mike Schilt is the leading candidate, that according to Kevin Acey's story in the San Diego Union Tribune. Padres, according to me and according to many others listening to this program who have agreed with me, need to get out in front of this now. I mean, they've got to come out. We need to hear from A.J. Preller, whether it's Peter Seidler, whether it's somebody. But I think the fan base, the people in this town are owed an explanation as to how it was and why it was that the Padres allowed Bob Melvin to leave. And it wouldn't hurt to name your new manager pretty soon either, because the longer that goes, then the longer this whole crazy notion of dysfunction goes. So
we're stuck in a cloud of uncertainty right now. And
that's right.
Until they speak on it. And once the Padres do, we'll have a better direction in which way we go from here. Will they have a manager whenever it is they speak? I don't know, but I think Chris is right. I mean, can you imagine a press conference or Zoom or whatever it is having to deal with the type of questions you'll have to answer if there is no manager at that point?
Right. You're better off having somebody sitting next to you so that they can be directed some questions as well. Want to remind everybody, Tony, real quick, this year you can beat the Halloween rush. Smart and Final has everything you need for a spooky season at prices that are anything but scary. Use promo code 3FREE. That's the number 3 free. The number 3 then free. All one word, and you get free delivery on your next 3 orders of $45 or more. That's Smart and Final. We will have our visit with Marcus McNeil coming up in this hour to recap Week 7 of the National Football League. I
was chatting with people on YouTube, but you were saying that you think whenever they do have an announcement, they're going to most likely have.
He said they should.
I think they should be announcing their
interest.
manager just to take away some of the sting of having to sit there and answer questions as to how we got to here.
Yeah.
Because right now that's all anybody's thinking is why are we and how did we get where we are? At least if you're introducing a manager, somebody will say, hey, why'd you hire that guy?
Right.
At least that's another question that'll be asked. It'll be a deflecting mechanism, but I think, the Padres, they got to be thinking of getting in front of the sooner rather than later.
Well, we've been talking about this all season long, and that this offseason is going to be really important. Blake Snell is most likely gone. Josh Hader's most likely gone. And now they just have to add another thing to it, which is to find a manager of the team. I really don't get this move. I know that I'm not aware of everything that's happened.
But you predicted it.
I didn't predict it.
You wanted it.
I didn't want it either.
You wanted it. You predicted it. You made it happen.
It's your fault.
I just
it wasn't going to happen until you started getting out the
putting
word.
that in the atmosphere.
That's right.
When I saw this morning, it just made me angry because I feel like there has been so much momentum going towards one way, and I know this season didn't really work out at all. But I was excited to see what happened next year. And I'm just not sure why the team is so okay with letting their manager interview with a team that's in division. And not to mention that this has already happened before.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Does it really bother you that it's in the division?
Yeah, it does.
It does. Would it matter if he was outside division? Wouldn't you still feel the same way?
I would and I wouldn't, because if he was going to say the Red Sox, I don't feel like the Red Sox and the Padres are going to play each other for the World Series.
Let me ask you this. You think Bob Melvin is the difference maker for the San Francisco Giants with the roster they have now?
That's a far out question.
I
don't know that he will be the difference maker.
It's a what?
It's a far out question.
Peace, brother.
Wow, that was a really good question. I haven't thought about yet.
My point is, it's probably less annoying. It's probably just like a cherry on top that he's going to the Giants versus anybody else.
The history is repeating itself.
It's more of an issue that I would think for most
history
people
will repeat itself if Bob Melvin goes to San Francisco and wins 3 World Series.
Right.
I don't think he's going to be around long enough to do that.
Is this something that's strange, or am I just making it too big of a deal that they're going to hire someone from in the division?
I think trading a player in your division is a much bigger thing than a manager. But that's the issue, is that the request that was put in for the Giants was accepted. That's the issue.
I'd like to know.
Sorry, that tells me one thing. The team, and I'm not speaking for the team, but the team thinks that Bob Melvin isn't the guy for them. And so they're willing to let Bob Melvin go somewhere else because they are interested in what he has to bring to the team. So they wanted to look elsewhere. And they granted him permission to interview with the Giants. I just don't get it.
Maybe. We have to wait to hear from the organization first.
Yeah.
You know what I wonder? I wonder how much, what is his name? Farhan Zahidi?
Yes.
Okay. I wonder how much he and the Giants knew about what was going on behind the curtain with the Padres the day they fired Gabe Kapler. Now, I bring this up because Skraby, in his conspiracy ways, said the day
that was right after we left, wasn't it?
Right, but he said the day after the Giants fired Kapler, Skraby said something ridiculous like, they only fired him because they know they can hire Bob Melvin.
I remember that show.
Where are you coming up with this? But now they've actually hired Bob Melvin, or the reports are that they have. So did the Giants, did they know there was that big of a divide between the Padres and Bob Melvin to where they actually risked it by firing Gabe Kapler with Bob Melvin in mind?
Dangerous risk.
Yeah. I mean, could they could only somebody with the warped mind that Skraby has could have felt that that's really what was happening. But as it turned out, that's the way it's worked out.
My mind goes to the weird places, and so I think that's my role on this show is that I throw things to the wall, and some of them stick, and most of them don't.
Yeah, no, I as we said at the beginning of the show, at some point, I'm sure the Padres will have this conversation, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's the following day, I don't know, but my guess is that it will be sooner rather than later. So
I have a couple. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, I don't have. I was breathing.
Okay.
I was breathing.
That was really good. I've seen a couple names on the list, like Tony's former teammates, Nick Hundley, Will Venable. I've also seen Benji Gill. I'm getting Benji Gill a lot. Someone that's close to town here. I'm not familiar with Benji Gill, but what do you think?
He played locally.
Yeah.
In high school, and went on and had a nondescript pro career.
All good baseball people. The question is, what are you coveting in your next manager? Are you coveting experience? Are you coveting youth? Are you coveting, outside the? I don't know. I don't know what it is that you're looking for. I think the last 4 managers have covered probably every end of the spectrum in all of those, whether, it was Buddy, then it was Andy, then it was Jace, then it was Bo, right? Bo was after Jace, right?
Yes. Right? Yeah.
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 Correct.
Yes.
It's sad that we have to think, though, about who was managing the team just 3 years ago.
Yeah. And so now you're trying to figure out, what it is that they're looking for at this point.
Hopefully we'll get some clarity soon, because we need some clarity. And I'm speaking to the Padres on behalf of the fan base here in San Diego, which I think needs some answers and needs them soon. We may have an answer to whether or not the Diamondbacks are going to give the Phillies a push here in Game 7 of the NLCS right off the bat. Arizona's put runners at first and third with 1 out in the top of the first. So they are threatening. Meanwhile, the NBA game, Lakers, not happening yet. They're down to Denver 42-26 second quarter. We got a quick timeout as Corbin Carroll crosses home plate on a ground out to give the Diamondbacks a 1-0 lead. We'll check traffic on Gwynn and Chris.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive Through Oil Change.
97.3 The Fan YouTube page. You can watch our show broadcast on YouTube Live, or you can watch it after the show is long over. Just go to YouTube and type in 97.3 The Fan. Currently, Diamondbacks up 1-0. Currently, my Lakers getting their butts kicked. 54-41, 4:06 in the second quarter. I had to be calmed down by Chris LO because I was already punching after
The air.
after watching Denver have 3 extra possessions on.
You look like a coach. You look like Darvin Ham. You know who's got some good stuff is this rookie for Arizona. I know he was terrible against the Padres this year, at least in one of the starts. And I know he got off to, I think he was 0-7 or 0-8 at one point. But he just threw a split finger pitch to Schwarber on a 3-2. Struck him out. And, I mean, Schwarber didn't really stand a chance against it. And we've seen Schwarber hit balls over the moon against everybody, but this kid's got some pretty good stuff.
I'm glad you said that because I think back to some of the comments because he pitched well against the Padres the second time.
Yes,
after
he did.
And I remember all the comments like, you let this Fott kid come in. And, I mean, he was their number one guy outside of Carroll. He was their number one pitching guy.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing is him coming into his own. He doing it at the postseason level, which I always feel like has the potential to catapult you the next regular season. Because if you could pitch on this stage with these type of eyeballs on you, can you imagine what you can do now with the confidence of that going into a regular season?
I was this is why I'm really dumb and why I don't win any fantasy leagues anymore. He was traded to me in our fantasy league as a throw-in in a trade in like May. He was 0-7, had an ERA of like 9. And I'm like, why? I mean, I needed the trade for whoever the other players that were involved. So I took him and I immediately released him. I'm like, I don't need this guy. Now I'm looking at him pitch. I'm like, I'm so stupid.
As soon as you got on your roster, you designated him for assignment.
Yeah, I got rid of him immediately.
Man.
Well, what do I want a guy that's 0-9 with an ERA of 7?
You know what I remember about Brandon Fott was that the first spring training game, we went over to Talking Stick and he was pitching. And I remember their media guys coming in and like, hey, this guy's supposed to be one of our guys. And I remember watching him pitch and the ball was just coming out hot. Now he only pitched an inning or so in that game, but he walked away feeling like, oh, that dude's pretty good. So then when we saw him in the regular season, I was like, oh, and then he wasn't, and then you hear that he wasn't pitching well. He was struggling.
Yeah.
He's apparently figured it out at the right time.
Yes, he was 3-9 for the season total with a 5.72 ERA. And he's got Bryce Harper right now swinging and missing at a curveball by 3 feet.
And you can't tell me that pressure doesn't start because we've seen Schwarber and Harp swing at balls that I don't know that they've swung at all playoffs.
No, I mean, these guys, nobody can get them out.
Yeah.
And Fott's making them, look pretty mortal right now. So we'll see if he can keep it up. Keep it up. He's got a long way to go. Long way to go.
Skraby, what we got going on in the chat over there, man?
Oh, if you would like to know, I will check in with the chat. Someone said that we have the best chemistry they've ever heard on the radio. And thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Basically, what I'm seeing in the chat
sounded like, you know who says that?
What?
Mr. Leitner says that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, he does. That's for you, Uncle Teddy.
That's all you got.
He just struck out Harper, and Harper missed the curveball again by 3 feet. And that tells me all I need to know, because if you're striking out Bryce Harper in this situation by 3 feet, that's some pretty nasty stuff.
Here
1-0 after an inning.
I have someone. They say Jock Peterson for Bob Melvin, move Fernando to center field. Let's go.
No.
Well, that is a Jock Peterson.
Oh, they want the Giants to give them something?
That is a part of the thing that's going to possibly happen, is that the Giants may have to give compensation back to the Padres because Bob Melvin is under contract with the Padres. Isn't that what happened when he came from the A's? I
think you're right, actually, Scrape. I think there might have to be some compensation there.
A trade of a manager.
Maybe so. Maybe Jock
I
Peterson.
don't like the idea of moving Fernando to center field.
I don't either.
He doesn't even want to play center field, he said. Well, he wants to play center field, but he said he's better suited at right.
Who are you going to put in right? Jock Peterson?
I think that's
Seen
where they're
him
going
field
with that.
recently?
Yeah. what,
I said, have you seen him field recently?
I have not, but I'm assuming he's not very good at right
You haven't
field.
seen him field.
Not his
DHs
strength.
a lot.
Yeah, it's not his strength.
Yeah, no.
So.
Leave Fernando alone. He's about to win a Gold Glove. We don't need to move him to center field.
I'm just seeing a lot of very disappointed Padres fans.
And they rightfully so.
Very disappointed, as in, like, some of them are mad at Peter Seidler for not fixing this. Some of them are mad at AJ, and some of them are mad at Bob. So there's plenty of blame going around.
I'm sure there's going to be buckets or pockets of different folks that feel different ways towards different people. I think that's inevitable. But and listen, this will continue until the Padres end up speaking. And I can't imagine that. I reiterate, I don't know anything, but I can't imagine it goes beyond the next 24, 48 hours. I just can't.
I got my first criticism of Anthony Davis for the year. It won't be the last.
What you got for my man AD?
He's played 16 minutes, has 17 points so far.
No rebounds.
1.
Come
on.
I think I saw it too.
He's like 9 feet tall. Get in there and grab the ball.
These guys, the big men hang out on the perimeter now, man.
No,
They're not hanging out in the paint very often.
You don't see Jokic with 1 rebound. He's got 7.
Here's what I will say about AD. I'm okay him not having the round of rebounds he had, as long as he's being the deterrent on defense that we saw him be at the end of last year, where he was blocking
shots,
everything.
he was altering stuff.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. So
yeah, I agree. 1 rebound doesn't always tell the story. It just doesn't look look good in a box score.
It looks atrocious.
It looks kind of paltry for a guy his size.
I also have another question from Ben. I believe this is the Ben that listens and tweets with us all the time. But he said, what's good, guys? Sucks with the Bowmel situation. Would there be a chance to get Craig Counsell from the Brewers? Now,
see, here's the thing. Anybody that like that, Craig Counsell, a Dusty Baker, that's all going to have to wait until after the World Series.
Yes.
Like those type of news. First of all, Giants are lucky they got this out of the way now, or that this, because with the one Major League Baseball can't stand is for news to be dropped during the World Series. They hate it. It's like it's one of their biggest pet peeves. That's why things happen right before, and then there's usually no news until after the World Series.
Yeah, it's bad form.
Yeah. So I think ultimately, if it is a move like that we won't know for even longer. So, if you are in the camp of wanting a Counsell or somebody who is still technically currently under contract, you're going to have to wait a little bit before you have an answer on that. Now, if it is what's kind of been out there in terms of Mike Schill or Ryan Flaherty, I would surmise that answer can come a lot faster. So we'll wait and see.
There's also a comment from Brianna, I believe, saying that
who? Rihanna?
Brianna. I believe the gist of the comment
I was thinking the same thing.
If Ryan Flaherty is a good managerial candidate, why have we not heard about his name throughout the league?
I don't know that that's true. You typically don't hear who's been interviewed unless it's been like a bunch of different times, or your team is one of the teams that is interviewed. But you talk to many people around the game of baseball, they'll tell you that Ryan Flaherty is a manager to be. Now, is he the manager to be for the Padres? Is it the right fit? I don't know that. But I don't know that just because you haven't heard his name mentioned doesn't mean he's not a real candidate. Anything else, Greg?
No. Now that we're answering questions,
they're coming in.
People are starting to bring them in.
Some of them are about burritos and Will Venable, please.
That's my guy.
Don't start bringing up food a half an hour before the show's over.
Right.
We're not going to make it.
You said burritos, and then you distracted me with Will Venable. That was a good play right there, because I'd have talked about burritos.
Yeah, I didn't hear Will Venable. I just heard burritos.
Carne asada burrito.
Oh, my
Let's
goodness.
get to break. When we come back, where we going?
Marcus McNeil.
It's Marcus McNeil. More Gwynn and Chris.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
Wanted to take this opportunity to welcome to the
Thursday, 5:37 is the time. Chris Hello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Skraby, wrapping things up from the Odyssey Palace Studios. Marcus McNeil to give us a look-see. Week 7 into the National Football League in the entertaining and fun way that only Marcus can. That is coming up shortly. First, an update. Arizona 1, Philadelphia Phillies 0. Phillies coming up in the bottom of the second inning. Brandon Pfaadt looked good in the first inning, boy. He struck out both Schwarber and Harper. But before I could get those words out of my mouth, Bohm just took him deep on the first pitch of the second inning. Alex Bohm. That's Bohm. Alex Bohm.
I like that.
1-1
Bohm.
Now. Philadelphia ties it up right away to start the second inning.
First pitch, little fastball that ran inner half. He didn't want it there. He wanted it away, and he gone.
So they're tied at 1 now in Game 7. World Series berth is on the line. A lot less is on the line in the opening night of the NBA season, but it's still fun nonetheless. The Lakers, down by as many as 16, have closed to within 9 at the half.
Yay.
It is Denver. Yeah, Tony's pretty excited by that. Denver 63, Lakers 54. Anthony Davis leads the Lakers 17 points, but as I pointed out, just one measly rebound. LeBron James has 10 points, 5 rebounds.
What's
and that's
new?
like that adds to his streak, by the way, of having double figures in scoring every game for the last 27 seasons. I mean, you
He's
just
amazing,
still
man.
think there'd be one night he'd score 7 points. It hasn't happened in eons.
You can't
that he's been under double digits.
The dude is he's one of one.
Yeah, he is. He truly
really
is.
is.
Jokic is leading Denver, which is no surprise. 19 points, 9 rebounds already for Jokic. Nuggets shot 50%, Lakers 45% in the first half.
Jokic might do kind of the same stuff Moses Malone used to do, like
Tip it up there and miss it on purpose.
Yeah, just keep missing.
Yeah, Moses would get 6 rebounds in one possession. Tapping it back up and back and forth.
Tapping.
Jokic, Jamal Murray has 8 points
Give
for,
a little tap,
for
tapper.
Denver. I think the Lakers wish they had Contavious Caldwell-Pope back.
Yes.
He's looked really good when he's been with the Nuggets. Got 9 tonight. All right, so there's your update on that. Bob Melvin is still not official, right? There's been no official announcement from the Giants on the hiring of Bob Melvin, which has been reported by sources all over baseball, but nothing official. We thought we might hear something this evening. That has not come to pass. So we will, kind of wait along with the rest of you on that and kind of surmise what the Padres may or may not do in response to the potential hiring of Melvin by the Giants. In the meantime, let's check you some traffic, get you home. And for the rest of your ride home, here's our visit with Marcus McNeil.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Just a few problem spots here. One of them is some defective traffic signals on eastbound 54 at the 4th Avenue off-ramp. They are apparently stuck on red, causing a bit of confusion there. So watch out for a bit of a backup. That's East 54, 4th Avenue off-ramp. In the North County, hit-and-run crash, westbound 78. This is just before Sycamore. That has been cleared out of lanes. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And it is time for our weekly visit with former All-Pro Marcus McNeil, then of the San Diego Chargers, now with us on Gwynn and Chris to break down the week that was in the National Football League. Marcus, how you doing today, my man?
Man, I'm doing well. I'm feeling fat after this little workout I did, though.
It's always good to get a workout in. Get your sweat on.
I'm sweating.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, the 49ers are all of a sudden sweating, Marcus. I mean, after a perfect start to the season and everybody kind of anointing them as the team, I think it was surprising to lose to one game to Cleveland, but very surprising that they would lose last night. They did have McCaffrey back in the lineup, but their vaunted defense gave up over 450 yards. Is it possible that a defense just has a really bad game like that?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the 49ers defense to have a game like that, especially with Greenwall and Warner in the game. Those are the guys who are the heart and soul of that defense. For them to give up that many yards, I wasn't expecting it. But without Justin Jefferson in the game, I don't think they were planning on some of those other wide receivers to have big games like that.
Marcus, I mean, yesterday was the first test for Brock Purdy in terms of a team taking away his best weapon and not having some of his other weapons. Could he put the Niners on his back and carry them to a victory? He couldn't do it. And the Vikings aren't, one of the best defenses in all of football. Yet he looked. This was one of the first times I'll give the Cleveland game a pass because of how good that defense is. This is the first time he looked normal.
Oh, he definitely looked normal yesterday. Average at best.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that last interception was just kind of demoralizing. Just to watch him, you guys got a chance. I think they missed a field goal right there at the end. So it's like, oh man, we got a chance to go down here and actually win this game. And then for you to be driving down the field and throw an interception like that hurt right there. I guarantee you that hurt him a lot. But I mean, he seemed composed and he didn't look too rattled, but those interceptions were just unbeatable.
Well, there are now questions about the 49ers, but not as many questions as there are about the suddenly beatable Buffalo Bills, another team that was anointed a few weeks ago as being Super Bowl bound. Since then, they've lost to the Jaguars, had a very unimpressive win over the Giants, and then inexplicably lose to the Patriots, a team that was a complete mess going into that game. They've got some injuries on defense, Buffalo does, so I understand that. But Josh Allen and that offense does not look like it's in complete tune right now, Marcus.
No, they don't look like they're in tune at all, I tell you, Chris. But I will tell you one person that's sitting around cheesing today, and that's Bill Belichick. I promise you, he was sitting there telling everybody around the league to put some respect on his name, because I think that we were just looking at New England kind of being that team that, y'all had the dynasty, but you're back to average. And he came out there, they had a solid game plan to go against. And we all know Belichick is a defensive-minded coach. And I think he prided himself in beating the Bills on Sunday.
With that being said, the defense is missing two big pieces. They're missing their best corner. They're missing their middle linebacker. Can they survive with those two guys out? I mean, if the offense is not going to be at its best, I think one of the things that they could lean on is that their defense was really good. They haven't looked as good the past couple of weeks.
No, they haven't looked good at all the past few weeks, to be honest. They just, I mean, if you just watch the way that, on both sides of the ball, you're missing guys. But then you watch that tackle J.C. Jackson made going into with Stephon Diggs. Like, that's why we got you out of L.A. I'm glad you're gone. And then on the other side, with the Bills, you're always looking for Von Miller to put that pass rush on. And I'm just ready to see those guys step up and be the big-time players that I'm used to seeing them be.
Philadelphia Eagles looked pretty good again on Sunday night. They beat Miami in a pretty good game between two pretty good teams. But the one thing everybody's talking about after that game, and everybody has been talking about, is the quarterback sneak play that the Eagles are running with Jalen Hurts. And I just want your opinion of it as a former offensive lineman. Do you like this play? Do you think they should outlaw this play? I mean, both Tony and I think they got to keep it in because not every team can do it. I mean, the Eagles are doing something that no other team can do. And what a luxury it is to be able to automatically gain 1 or 2 yards whenever you need it.
Absolutely. Come on now. I love the play. I hate the name, though. Come on now. The tush push. Can y'all come up with a softer name for such a hard down where you got to, get in there and get that 1 yard? We all know how hard it is to get 1 yard. Y'all gonna call it the tush push? Come on now. I love the play. I absolutely hate the name.
Marcus, it feels like the last, 3 weeks we've talked about the Eagles being the best team. We've talked about the Niners. It feels like we just continue to overlook the Kansas City Chiefs and what they continue to do year in, year out. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, these guys just continue to play at a very high level. Is it them and everybody else at this point?
I don't think that we overlooked them. I think Taylor Swift stepped into the picture,
Yeah,
right?
good point.
Like, I think everybody stopped talking about Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce unless you were talking about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and they've been dominant in the AFC West for years now. They've been dominant in the NFL, always a top 5 team. They got a great defense, Chris Jones up front. And then it doesn't matter who you put with Mahomes. He just makes weapons out of them. Now he has Pacheco looking good. Travis Kelce always looks unstoppable. So the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I think if we are honest with ourselves, the Chiefs are the team to beat every year coming in because they've been the most consistent.
I think it's a great line that Patrick Mahomes makes a weapon out of everybody. And that's true because they just keep bringing in different receivers, and every one of them look like they can make plays when they're playing with Patrick Mahomes. They beat the Chargers on Sunday, your old team, and I looked at some of the odds. They're saying that the coach most likely to be fired right now in the NFL is Brandon Staley. We have talked about this in the past. He's a defensive-minded coach, but his team can't play defense. Are the Chargers and that coach in a situation now where they better prove something soon?
Yeah, they absolutely got to prove something soon. You know, they're becoming the laughing stock of the NFL, and I hate it because that's my team. You know, I didn't play for anybody else, so I'm always rooting for them. You know, whenever I'm watching them play. But, you know, some of the calls, they're not going right. To be honest, what I'm hearing is like, I hear he's Justin Herbert's guy. They have a real close relationship. So I'm pretty sure with a franchise quarterback like that, they're trying to make it work. But I guarantee you his hot seat has to be the hottest right now of all the coaches, or at least one of the 3 hottest of all the coaches in the NFL right now.
It's really, I think, quiet for considering how bad they've looked defensively, the type of games they've lost, and even for Justin Herbert, I think a little bit like of all the quarterbacks in the league, I think he probably gets the biggest pass week in and week out when his ball club loses. Why do you think that is?
I mean, if you could sling a ball 80 yards, I think you get a pass every once in a while. So I think he has such a big arm, and we're impressed with his throws so much that I don't think people are paying attention to like the leadership ability that it takes to be a quarterback as well. I always establish a quarterback as a general on the field. So that's what I want to see. That guy, when I look in your eyes, I know if you have one more chance to get us to the end zone, you're going to march us down there. So a lot of that falls on him. He's still a fairly young quarterback, you know, and we can't blame him for everything. He's been in almost, 3 different systems, 3 different offensive systems since he's been there already. And that's just tough on a quarterback to, you know, have to learn that many different systems, especially coming straight from college and you're not a veteran.
I want to ask you about the Lions and the Ravens game, because this was supposed to be a really terrific matchup. I think everyone was looking forward to it. The Lions have taken some great strides. They look like a team to be contended with. And then you look up and it's 35-0 in the third quarter. And Lamar Jackson is throwing to Mark Andrews and running through the Lions, and Jared Goff can't complete a pass. I mean, how does that happen on a Sunday? I'm sure it happened to the Chargers when you were playing just a game where nothing is going your way and you just can't seem to change it.
I ain't never looked at the scoreboard in the 35 either. Hey, y'all better get out there and bite somebody's ankle if you got to. We ain't going out like that. But you're absolutely right. I don't think that anybody was expecting for the Ravens to jump on the Lions like that. But Jared Goff kind of looked similar to the reason why I didn't like him as much as the Rams. Like, you know, he was making some plays. I can think about him making that underhand grounding play when it's like, what are you thinking about right here? You know, and it's just like that just came to fruition. But then Lamar Jackson, who's such a dynamic player, I think that he gets overlooked a lot of times. So he rides under the radar for the most part. And teams step up, and then all of a sudden you see the Ravens blowing people out, and now we have to bring them in the conversation for one of the best teams.
Well, one of the best NFL guys that we get to talk to week in and week out, it is Marcus McNeil. the big fan of the tush push.
No. I'm not co-signing on that Charmin. Okay, that's too soft for me.
Hey, Marcus, we'll try to make it a little stronger next time. We'll talk to you. Appreciate the outing this week, and look forward to next week. Thanks for everything, as always.
All right, Chris. All right, Tony. All right, Skraby, man. Y'all have a great week.
There he goes, Marcus McNeil. Next time we have Marcus on, remind me, Tony. I got to ask him if he knows Barkley. They both went to Auburn,
the Auburn
of course.
boys.
And listening to Marcus McNeil talk,
he
really sounds a lot like Barkley. I mean, it's not an exact replica voice, but they're very similar in the way they deliver their
deep Southern
their
drawl.
message. Yeah, Barkley. I heard him earlier tonight. You were playing a clip on your phone of him talking about these NBA players and the fact that they need to play games, and talking about how I can't repeat it because I would not do it justice. It's just so funny to hear Barkley talk. I miss that guy. I miss he and Shaq, and I miss Ernie, and that's maybe one of the better things about the NBA regular season is watching those guys do their TNT thing every night.
It's still the best TV we got going.
It is so good.
Consistently, once a week we get, or twice a week we get them, and Kenny.
Oh yeah, Kenny too. Yeah,
Kenny, Shaq.
Oh my gosh,
Chuck,
they showed Kenny trying to run in the desert.
Dog,
it was so funny.
First of all, if you haven't watched, Kenny is like, I don't know how he played basketball.
He looks so unathletic.
Knock-kneed as he is, running towards.
He was Michael Jordan's. No, was he?
He was after Michael.
After Michael.
He was after Michael.
Yeah. And he was very good at North Carolina.
No, he's a dunk champion.
And he won the NBA title with the Rockets too. So pretty good player, point guard. They didn't win because he couldn't play. Shaq won his titles. I'm sure they let Barkley know about that all the time.
They do. They definitely
poor
pick
Chuck
on Chuck
didn't get any titles. I'm amazed at how athletic Barkley looked out on the floor in all the highlights. I mean, because I remember watching him when I watched him, and I always thought he was kind of a heavy set player.
Nickname?
The round mound of rebound.
Round mound of rebound.
but I mean, you look at him back then in those highlights from the early 90s, Barkley was built. I mean,
Let me tell you, not only was Barkley built and was like an actual bull running on, but he had like springs. Like he would elevate. And I remember him snatching blocking a shot, but actually blocking it, just kind of cuffing it out of the air and coming back down on the floor. He was an exceptional athlete. And mind you, he did that all at probably the size of 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, maybe 6'6".
He was
maybe
short
6'6".
for NBA terms.
Yeah, but remind me to ask Marcus what he knows about Barkley, because I bet he's got a funny story or three. All right, that's going to wrap things up for us. Final check of the scores. Arizona 1, Philadelphia 1. Phillies coming to bat in the bottom of the third. Denver by 8 over the Lakers, 66-58, just underway in the third. Tony will go home and watch the Lakers rally to win.
Yes.
And he'll be in an excellent mood tomorrow when we reconvene at 2 o'clock. Buster Olney, among others, will be on the show tomorrow from ESPN. So make sure you're not late. For Tony, Skraby, Chris Ello here, good night.